This episode is brought to you by Dragon Bags. We talk about them every single week.
Sure do.
Because we surely love them. And it's scientifically proven that if you head over to dragonbags.com and buy yourself a set, your PPR is going to go up a full point. Happened for us. High five. I hope you can hear that on the mic.
I mean, it was pretty clean.
It was a clean one. But anyways, head over to dragonbags.com.
Do you have like a technique for that? Like, are you like a forearm stare or anything? Or
elbow?
Okay.
Always stare at the elbow. Okay. You never miss.
Fair enough.
Also scientifically proven. Just like the Dragon Bags make you better. So head over to dragonbags.com. Grab you a great set of bags today or gear, whatever you want.
Swag.
They have everything. Yeah. Swiggity swag all day. So head over to dragonbags.com. Drop code BIGASP12 at checkout. And it's going to save you 12%. So do it.
Welcome back
right
to the
now.
Big Ass Cornhole Podcast. Sean and Dane are with you as always. What's going on, man?
Not too much. Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday.
This is a little disappointing Monday.
It was an exciting Monday. It was kind of fun.
Until tragedy happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
I know.
All right. Well, we have a lot to talk about this week.
We do.
All right.
So we gotta get going.
We gotta get into this, man. It's getting late already. All right. So Dane, do what you do best. Let the folks who are drinking tonight in our favorite segment called "What You Drinking."
What you drinking? Well, we're back to Miller Lite just because it's a Monday.
It's there.
Football's on. Baseball was on earlier. Let's drink our sorrows away.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Dane.
No problem.
All right.
Yep. Nectar of the gods. Never forget it.
All right. Well, obviously, we have more audio gold planned for you all today. Today, we're going to be recapping the first ACL Open and Teams draft of the 2025 season. We're going to do what we do best and dramatically read curated content to keep you up to date on the latest drama from behind the scenes. But, and we got listener questions, like some
galore.
Awesome listener questions. So shout out to all of you guys for posting that stuff because we're going to have some fun this week.
And I'm coming into it blind.
Yes, it's great.
I didn't even know you made that post.
Yeah, it was great.
All right. So.
All right. Yep. Like 60 plus comments or something. It's been a good day. But before we get into all that, we're going to let you know what's going on in our lives in a segment we call In and Around the Hole.
Are you too good for your home? Answer me!
Weekend was good.
Okay.
Went to a Billy Joel cover band on Friday with mom and dad.
Just ripping it up.
Crushed some beers.
Good old Middleburg
Billy
Heights
Joel, and then
Fall Festival.
Yeah, but this guy took it upon himself to play like some CCR and stuff, and he didn't quite have the chops for it. It was really weird. I'm like, dude, you're a Billy Joel cover band. Like, just play Billy Joel.
Yeah, right? Like, that's what we're all here for.
When I think of Billy Joel, I don't think of Creedence Clearwater Revival.
No.
Okay?
It's just like he loved that song probably growing up.
Yes.
And he's like just likes to sing it.
Yeah, and it was just it was an awkward moment.
I get that.
But, can't win them all. Then Saturday went and saw your daughter cheerlead.
Yes.
She's excelling at cheerleading.
She likes it.
I can tell.
She likes it.
So very happy to see. And then watch my other nephew, Will, play football. Hilarious. I also was streaming the Guardians game on my phone.
Okay. Yeah, well.
So, I was giving a play-by-play to my brother-in-law, Tim, and then all of a sudden, like, all the dads were around me.
Yeah.
And there's just a group of 15 of us
Luckily,
not even paying attention to the game.
Game one was, you just needed to watch the first
Exactly,
inning,
but that was the most exciting.
Good.
While these little kids were playing, we were watching it on my phone, and they're all just like, oh, my God.
I mean, let's just go ahead and get it out. So, congratulations to Detroit. You guys won game 2.
You guys won one.
Listen,
congratulations.
And listen, we weren't supposed to win this game. Like, yes, I know we're at home, but you guys were throwing out your Cy Young Award winner.
Yeah.
So it was a great game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it sucks that Klaus, for whatever reason, felt the need to throw 3 straight sliders for the first time all fucking season. For the first time.
Yeah, hadn't had a home run hit off his slider since 2020, they said.
Oh.
Disgusting. So again, hats off. Hell of a game though. Like it was fun to watch. Fun. Like it was one of those that just brought me.
It's gonna be a good season. It's gonna be a good series.
Game 1 didn't bring me into the playoffs because it was so much fun. That's not the playoffs.
Yeah.
Playoffs should make you sick to your stomach while you watch it pretty much the whole time, and it was gut wrenching. And I'll admit, I screamed. I scared Amy when we gave up the home run, but that's just passion.
If this was the worst game that our bullpen's gonna have, all right, we're gonna get out of the way.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Listen, again, we were not supposed to win this game anyways. Detroit left opportunities on the board early. Our starter had pitched the game of his life today.
Yeah.
I mean, we were not expecting that at all.
I'm just hanging my hat that we kept them scoreless for 17 innings or something. So we'll just keep building. Move on to the next game. To Detroit we go.
Hell yeah.
The Browns.
I'm just not. I can't, man.
That was Sunday.
Yeah, I can't.
But we also all right. So the Browns suck. We'll admit that. Before Browns time though, we got to get out and golf.
We did.
Always fun.
Yes.
Oh,
I
excuse me.
played so erratically. The front nine, I played pretty well.
You played. I feel like you and I both played really well on the front.
I shot a 40. I shot a 40 on the front. Like I was very happy. Like going into the back nine, I'm thinking like, I mean, I'm probably gonna break 80. Like I'm just now getting loosened up. Like the last 4 holes on the front nine, like I was hitting greens of regulation,
Yeah.
or I was just off. Like my short game was phenomenal. Like for those of you that golf, for the whole day, I had 22 putts.
Yeah.
Like that's how well I was putting.
It's a good round.
But like it was like I wasn't leaving myself like long putts.
Mhm.
I was making all of my like 5 to 10 foot putts that I was leaving if I was chipping it close.
Which really is the name of the game.
Yeah, correct.
I mean, you want to leave yourself.
But like the
10
front
foot
nine is
halo.
very typical of what I'm going to do. Like my driving was, hit or miss, but like I would always have like one shot that kind of would bring me back. And then my short game just I can't emphasize it enough like how important it is.
Yeah.
If you put me within 30 yards of the green, if I don't put it somewhere within 10 feet, I'm pretty pissed. Like I feel like that confident with the short game stuff.
Yeah,
But
my issue is just I'm nailing greens and reg, but that course just kills my putter. Every time I play it, I don't know what it is.
it was slow and very grainy.
Yeah, dude, like it just doesn't move
It always-
consistently.
Well, it
like,
broke more than what you would think it would.
on
and-
some, and then
correct.
other ones like you would ride a spine and it just wouldn't move a single inch. You're like,
And I got lucky a few times that like you or dad were just outside of me,
Yeah.
and, like literally out, and I had to move my ball, so I got to see what the putt did, which helped obviously. So thank you.
Yeah, again, but
It was fun.
for third round in a row, birdied the first hole.
Yeah.
I used to never do that. Now all
Yeah.
of a sudden it's becoming a consistent.
Yeah,
I like
was
it.
I was a little worried the first hole because I got a 6. Like
Yeah.
it was not good. And in the back nine, I couldn't drive the ball, like until the last hole. The last hole, I probably hit the best drive I've ever hit in my life. It was 295, little baby draw right
Mhm.
up the right side of the fairway, and I don't know where the fuck it came from. Because
It's-
before that, I
Sean,
had topped like 4 straight holes.
It's 18 hole
crazy.
magic. All right,
Oh,
every golfer
God,
knows
so
that
frustrating.
once you get to the 18th hole, that round could be the worst of your life.
Yeah.
And you show up on 18 and you either pipe it off the tee or you just rip one shot that's just perfect. And you're
Yeah.
like, God damn, what a beautiful shot. I love this game.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah, because there was a halfway through the back nine. I'm like, I don't know what I'm
Dude,
doing.
I struggled too. Like, I don't know. We tried playing a game, like a
Well, you're
different
also
type
hitting a
of
new
game, and-
driver.
Yeah. I mean,
You are hitting a new driver. Like, and that was to me, that was the biggest difference. It's the last few times I played with you, you were somewhere. If you were in the rough, you were barely in the rough. Like you were very accurate,
Yeah.
and you were hitting the long ball. You changed drivers, you weren't hitting it quite as well to that time, so you had to like scramble.
but the
a little
couple
bit.
times that I did rip it,
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, once I figure it out, I'll be very. I started figuring it out later. Like
Yeah.
I just can't overswing with it. It's so much heavier than my current one that it's tempo and
Yeah.
it still just flies just as far. But yeah, I was a little erratic. I mean, I switched it up though. I took that driver out, and then once we started playing the game, I
Yeah.
brought it back in
Okay.
because I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
We're gonna play it this way. Might
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well try to hit the further ball if you can. But
Dad, but, I mean, we played with our dad. He
Yeah.
played very well. I took my daughter for the first time. She played for 18 for the first time. We let her hit like every
dude, I don't
2 or
think
3
she
holes.
hit a single shot that was off of a like
No.
2-foot line.
No, I'm
Straight
telling
ahead
you.
of her.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
She hits it straight every single time. It was insane.
I'm trying to get her to now that she can make consistent contact. I'm like, all right, let's start kicking the club back further.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's not just take
Start
it halfway
trust it,
anymore.
yeah.
It's like let's start getting a little bit of the hinge, and then start bringing the lower body into it. But like, I just want her to have fun with it right now. So she has fun going out and everything. And even though I'll never go back to that course.
No,
again.
that was the last time. You wanna tell the folks
So-
about your daughter, your beautiful daughter, my wonderful niece,
So I walk into the
getting
clubhouse
flack.
with my daughter. There's no one behind the front desk.
Yeah.
Which is not unusual at that course early on. So I'm like, all right, you just go pay at the bar. So I go up to the bar with my daughter, and this lady comes around the corner, and she's like, "Can I help you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm here for just trying to pay for a tea time. There's no one. Do I pay here?" And she's like, "No, you go at the desk." And she comes around the corner and sees my daughter and points at her, and she's like, "No." And I'm like, "Excuse me?" And she's like, "No." And I'm like, "Okay, like I heard you the first time, but like, what do you mean no? Like, what are you pointing at?" And she's like, she can't go out." And I'm like, "What the fuck do you mean she can't go out?" I'm like, I've taken her all over the state of Ohio golfing.
Yeah, I've
9 holes
never
is a-
heard anyone turn
and
away.
I told her, I'm like, listen, I'm
a
not asking
kid.
her to go out for free. I'll pay a riding fee. Like that's customary, right?
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. and we're not gonna take an extra cart. She'll sit right in between me and my dad. Like, it's no big deal. Like, it should be no problem. And she basically said that no kids under 8 years old were allowed on the course. And I was an idiot. And I'd already told her that she was 7. And I'm like, well, like, she's like, don't be mad at me. It's not my rule. I'm like, we can just bend the rules then if they're not yours.
Yeah.
I'm like, we got to be able to work out something. Like, are you serious right now? I'm like, you're seriously telling me that, like, you're just anti-kids golfing. Like, you don't want to grow the sport.
Exactly.
And she's like, no. So she told me, she's like, it'd be different if she had her own clubs. I'm like, oh, nay, she does have her own clubs. I brought her clubs. And she's like, she has clubs? I'm like, yes, they're in my bag. She has clubs. She has golf clubs in my golf bag. I brought them.
Looking at your bag.
Oh, she was
saying that you didn't
Dane.
have her clubs. And I'm like, at one point, I literally held up like the purple head
If I didn't
cover
have my
of this
7-year-old
tiny
daughter,
driver, and I'm like,
if I didn't have my 7-year-old daughter, the things I wanted to say to this lady.
yeah.
Like, I was pretty calm because dad was there. It's like, I'm going to not try to get to, but I was also not going to let some lady walk, like this old lady would walk all over me. So I was giving it back to her a little bit. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, and so she basically came to the resolution of like, she could go, but you got to pay full price.
Mm-hmm.
So I paid full price for her, and I just told basically everyone in the clubhouse I'll never go back here, and that if I'm paying $96, this course better be motherfucking immaculate. And guess what? It wasn't. So if you were in Ohio, I cannot recommend less going to Hilliard Lakes Golf Course. And I'm pretty sure it was bought.
Yeah, like 3 years ago, and it just keeps getting.
So you're
going to
be losing your job anyways, lady. So don't like. And she was like trying to give. She's like, "Do you want the news articles about kids getting killed on golf courses?" I'm like, "I'm her dad. How about I worry about that?"
Yeah.
Like, if I'm okay, I'm giving you your blessing. Do I need to sign something? Like, I'll sign something.
There's kids her age going hunting.
Dude, it's
like,
just yeah. So she got me all fired up. So I started off the first hole with a double. Was not happy. But then I just calmed down. Remember where I was. We're good. So
happy place.
yeah, happy place. All right.
Yeah.
So enough about us.
Roll Tribe.
Roll Tribe.
God damn it, Sean. They lost.
So
there was
weekend,
also cornhole this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend was a fun weekend. It was the 2025 season. It kicked off. Had the Open number 1, and they had the ACL teams draft.
Yes.
So I figured let's recap the Open first, and then we'll kind of move into So Open results. If we could give awards just for being like just dominator of Opens, I think Devin Harbaugh could win that award.
100%.
And this just goes to show, it just validates everything we've ever said about the guy. He is clearly one of the most talented players, if not the most talented players in the country. Hands down. But something happens when the brightest lights come on. He just had, I'm not saying he's never going to. I'm saying up to this point, he's never even come close to his ability. Really.
Yeah.
In singles.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
he's always kind of fallen short.
But
I'm a huge Devin Harbaugh fan. I want to see it happen. I think it could happen this year.
This is almost becoming a cliche at this point that we say every season. Like, it's bound to happen. We're just waiting for when.
But as a guy that has been very vocal about that, this is his job.
Yeah.
He did his job. He went there and he got a decent payday for the weekend.
Hell yeah.
He took home $2,000.
I'll take it.
All right. Second place overall, which I think this was interesting, and we'll get into this even more when we get in the teams. Jackson Gore.
Kids.
What a way to show everybody that, like, listen,
hey, I'm not gone.
I had a down year.
Yeah.
Like last year was pretty solid, but like the year before was forgettable. But like, I'm back. Like, I'm just as good as as you guys remember.
Yeah.
Like, I'm back. And he seemed to have like that little. He seemed to have his edge back a little bit when they had the.
Hey, I mean, the
with
kid went through a pretty decent growth spurt. I think it's like only fair that he needed to like figure it out.
Yeah.
We were just kind of waiting, and now it seems like he
in
might
a
have
loaded
figured it out.
field.
Exactly.
I mean, taking second overall.
With these names that we're going to read off here, it's a gauntlet.
Yep. Blast from the past and showing that he still has it, and that game strategy could still make it work. Tanner Halbert.
Yes.
Tanner Halbert won his bracket, tied 3rd overall.
Mr. Block behind.
Also, the talented Bryce Forbes. I think this kid's going to be trouble all season.
Yes, he is.
He's super talented. Yeah, he's the real deal, man.
There's just so many of them, though.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to say that about 30 people when it comes draft time.
I know. Second in the bracket, so we had a few names. We had Eric Davis, Brady Foster, which is he hasn't really lived up to what I think there was some hype when he first joined the league, and it's just never kind of like panned out.
Yeah,
everything. But this is a good showing, good start to the season. You have Philip Lopez Jr. and then the janitor Matt Wilson, ACL rookie. So he, like, to me, I like seeing somebody like Wilson, there's been some hype around.
Yeah,
right. Like, he's great on social media. He's been posting his stats and they're phenomenal. and then you show up at an open like this and you back it up. I mean, it's a really good
It's a
showing
good
for your
showing,
first
for
event as
sure.
a pro. Like, it's a very, very good showing. Third in the bracket, we had names like David Brown. I think he was second overall in the pro qualifier. He only lost to Tyler Stratton. He's a really, really good player. Get familiar with the name. Like, you're going to hear it, I think, quite a bit this year. You had Jason Rubin, Air Rubin. Welcome back, sir.
Love it. Showing that he's still got the sauce.
Yeah, and third in his bracket, man, just coming
Yeah.
back and just, I mean, again, this is a loaded field.
Yeah, exactly. Because
You
we're not
had-
done with the names yet.
You had Justin Rule, who coming off again last season where he was super high, led the league in PPR.
Yep.
And we had questions like, okay, like that's great, but the year before you were not good. Like, is this here to stay, or was last year you just got hot at the right time? Seems like whatever was going on last year is carrying over to this season.
For sure.
You know, because the long off season. You know,
Yeah,
it's,
I mean,
it's crazy.
you know, they had time to recover in a week.
And then fourth in the bracket, there were some newer names that I think again that we could be hearing. Mason Trader, all right. Obviously, Ryan Trader, Mason coming in this year. Again, it's a really good showing. You know, it's one of those situations like an Alex and Alan Rawls kind of thing, where you know one of the brothers was clearly doing well, but then the other one starts doing well. You're like, oh shit, like are you that good?
Yeah. Like, did
Oh,
it
shit.
click for you finally?
ACL rookie, proud, big team, team big ass member, Colin Hodet,
Hell yeah.
fourth in his bracket. Man, that kid's fun to watch. He plays a really fun
Roll
game.
King.
Yeah, I think he's going to surprise a lot of people this year.
Yeah.
I do. I think he's very sneaky good. Like I think because of the area he's coming out of, I don't know if he's had as much exposure across the country. So early on, he might be able to. He might be.
But
a
he's
little dark
definitely
horse.
got that game that
Oh,
just
yeah, for
gives
sure.
people fits
Yep.
because he can hit those nasty shots.
Yep. So along with the new names are two. You know, we'll call them old boys: Jordan Power
Good old boys.
and Damon Dennis.
Heck yeah.
So.
Love to hear that.
Oh yeah. So I the one thing I thought was interesting is when I was going through and I was seeing how much these guys were winning.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was a big difference this year in an open versus previous years because no longer like pro and elite are now separate, like their own bracket. So I wanted to see how much are payouts affected.
Yeah.
So first place, Devin Harbaugh walked away with $2,000. Last year's winner was Alan Rawls, and this was last year Open one, right? So you figure you would hope attendance would be about the same. I think it was down a little bit this year. Ironically, I think from what I heard, I think the ACO major in Ohio.
Yeah.
I think it was is it Shady Nook?
No, Spooky Nook.
Spooky Nook. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Spooky Nook. I think their numbers were very similar to what the first ACL Open, which is interesting.
It is.
But last year, Alan Rawls, winner of Open number 1, he took home $2,400. So difference of 400.
Mhm.
All right, but how much is there going to be a trickle down effect? Second place last year was Tony Smith. He took home $1,500. Jackson Gore took $1,200. So difference of 300. Third place, there was a tie with Wiedenfeld and Matt Guy. They took home 1,000. This is where the drop off starts to come a little bit. Tanner Halpert took third. Bryce Forbes took third. They each took home $650.
Mhm.
So there is a little bit of a decrease in payouts right
Oh,
now.
for
So
sure.
I'd be interested to see. I want to hear what like the ACL pros are thinking about this. And like, I think if you're one of those people that's always like, you know, they're taking our money to pay up and all we're winning our boards and stuff like that. If you look like the payouts are, I mean, they're not really going
they're
up
not-
that
they're not
much.
Crazy elevated, but yeah, I also think like this time of year for the ACL is always hit or miss at the opens because so many people have
Yeah, oh,
burned
yeah.
all their vacation.
Oh,
already.
100%. Yeah, it's not.
But
We
they
have to
don't-
wait
they-
until 2025.
Exactly.
I
Like
agree.
so, like right now, like yeah, it's the new season, but like you're not gonna have those
But again,
big opens right now.
That's why I wanted to compare it to last year's Open
Yeah.
1, not the end of the year. I wanted to go Open 1. Where were we at?
Now I
last
will
year?
say I do like to see the top tier talent showing up to these opens though.
Oh, yeah,
like
for
that's
sure.
nice. They're not
Oh, yeah.
like skipping out on stuff. So
we got to remember Open
I know,
count for
it
pro
counts,
points
so,
now.
like, it seems like everyone understands it.
That's
so.
why trying to predict like man of the year and stuff like that, it's completely different because now we got to count opens because these are counting towards pro points.
Yeah.
Now they haven't really said yet. I'm assuming that the signature events that they're calling them sound familiar,
No, a little bit.
but the signature events that
You
they're
mean-
having, I'm assuming that they're for elevated points.
Yeah.
Right. I would
I would
assume
assume,
so. All right. So, but what I would like to be interested to know is like how like if Devin Harbaugh wins 2, is that opens? Is that the same as like 1 signature win in terms of points?
I mean, I guess
I
only
don't know.
time will tell. We'll see.
All right, so moving on to doubles. The overall champ were our new best friends, Chris Kingsbury and Alan Rawls. They took home $3,800. Second place overall was a team, again, that When I was coming out with my doubles power ranking, they were like an instant, like, I know they belong here. I just don't know where I want to fit them at.
Yeah,
And that was Sammy Soto, Gavin Cano.
for sure.
Third place, Derek Holland and Alex Rawls. I mean, again, just the Rawls brothers just doing what they do. And Alex and Derek, I mean, that's what they are. They're like that second. They're going to win their bracket.
Yeah, they're steady Eddie.
Yeah,
Like,
they're going to win their bracket or come second in their bracket. They're always going to be in the mix.
Mhm.
You just can't count them out. And then they're gonna win a national here.
of course.
Like, they're just always around.
I mean, we expect them to, but we'll
Third
see.
place overall, and I think this is interesting going forward for when we start talking about the draft. You had Noah Almanza and Riker Wells. They also took third in their bracket.
Yeah,
Second in their bracket, another name that you guys need to familiarize yourself with. If you're a fan of the TCL at all, or I think he might have played ACO last season as well, you probably have already heard the name, but playing with Bryce Forbes was Levi Haddock. This kid has problems. We've seen him at the TCL.
he's got some.
I know a lot of the guys at the
nastiness.
TCL are not going to be thrilled that he's doing the elite or pro section because like now he can't play with like those.
Yeah, he's
the
got
other
to
pro
find
pla-
a
yeah.
non-pro to go.
Yeah,
play
so
with,
this
you
kid
know?
is really, really good, and they're going to be a lot of trouble going forward
For
in
sure,
opens
yeah.
and at the signature events.
And
I
he's
really
real.
believe it.
He's pretty young too, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think he's like baby young, but I think he's only like 17 or 16
I think
or
he's.
something like
I
that.
think he's a junior pro. I think. I'm
Okay.
not positive. I would have to look at that. I'm not. Don't quote me on that. I mean, if you want to pull it up while I'm going over the rest of them, you can pull up the pros list and just see where his name's at. I can't remember if he's
Sure.
just elite or if he is if he accepted like a pro contract. Other names that took second in their bracket was Austin Waskow and Quinn Reeves. Again, these two are going to be. They already showed that they can perform at a high level, and them coming into the first open, they're one of those teams that like I think has a dark horse potential to finish like top 10.
Yeah,
I really,
for sure.
I really
mean,
do.
They definitely do. But again, we're gonna say that about so many teams.
Perhaps one of the most like interesting pairing and like the most impressive runs of the day had to be Mason Trader and Cash Chamness. I'll tell you what, like, say what you want, but Cash, for being 8 years old, is really freaking good, man.
I mean, they're
He's
like
really
your
good.
height on each other's shoulders.
Dude, it's
And
really
that's-
impressive.
It is very impressive.
I mean, he's very, very impressive. So I again, taking second year
Is
bracket
he
at a
s-
pro event is
is he
crazy.
where you thought like Trevor would have been at by now? Because they're like probably the same age, right? Caballero or whatever.
Yeah, probably right around.
Because I
that
feel
same
like
age.
Cash has surpassed
think-
him. Cash might be a little bit older than him.
Yeah, I think Caballero is just into other sports. I think that's what it
Which
came
is
down
nothing
to.
wrong
yeah,
with that.
of course. Other names: Jaden Ellis and Frank Verona took second in their bracket as well. And then we start seeing some of the blue bloods prop up, and it was worrying me at first when I started going down the list and I hadn't seen anybody.
Yeah.
All right, so we had Tony Smith and Mark Richards take third in their bracket. Jamie Graham and Jacob Trzynski take third in their bracket. All right, so I feel a little bit validated because I had them very high in my power rankings. I
Mhm.
believe I had them 1 and 2. Taking third in the bracket again. You're getting deep in there. Again, it's one game and you could have won it, and then
Yeah.
we would have been
Then
looking
you'd
better.
have been good. Yeah.
You know what I mean? The team that I was very happy to see perform well together the first time throwing together, Cody Henderson, Ethan Walker.
Yes.
We said it earlier. I left him off my doubles top 10, but I don't think that they're going to be off there for long because I think we're going to see like a resurgence of Cody Henderson this year. I think he seemed, as much as he's going to sound on these interviews, he seemed more excited than he had in the past.
Again, I think he's. I mean, I think he's ready to grind again.
Yeah,
I think
that's what I'm
he's
saying.
ready to like.
But you don't do that if you don't enjoy what
Exactly,
you're doing. You
yeah.
know what I mean? That's kind of the point I was getting to. Another impressive run is third in their bracket, Sarah Cassidy and Elizabeth Tennyson.
Yeah, that's a nice run.
It is.
And
They had a nice
just
weekend.
wanted to point out Haddock is not a junior pro.
Okay, so he
nor
must
a
be an
pro.
elite. All right, so
Yeah.
he's in the elite program. Okay. All right, so women's doubles, you had Sarah Cassidy and Elizabeth Tennyson carrying over their impressive performance
Very
in
nice.
pro and open, and they win women's doubles, taking second place. And again, this was kind of like a sneaky announcement this weekend that I don't know if everyone realized,
Yeah.
but they announced that Cheyenne Bubenheim is going to be playing with Gina Ramirez in doubles.
Love it.
In women's doubles this year. I mean, I think that those two have a very big potential, and I think that you probably saw their biggest competition in I realistically that won this event.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean,
just and no, this is not a shot at like Streaker and Finley
Yeah.
because like obviously they could come out win. They just haven't done it somewhat recently. You know what I
no,
mean?
but
Like
they're
I think
they're the seasoned vets that
Yeah, correct.
no one would ever be surprised if they went and took one down. Like,
but
this is
anytime
just
you're
like,
throwing with Cheyenne and like Gina just has to be rock steady and
Yep.
she's gonna be fine. And like they're gonna do very well this year.
for sure. No,
So
I loved the pairing when I heard it. Loved it.
DLE
Hell
making
yeah.
her announcing her presence, women's doubles. She her partner was it Malin Dela Cruz?
Gigante.
Yeah, thank you, Dane. That was very nice. They take third
no
third
problem.
place. Allison Springer and Katie Bartle take fourth place.
Bartel.
Women's singles. Sarah Cassidy with just a
herself
killer
a
weekend.
weekend.
Hell yeah. She takes first place. She wins over Miranda Coy. Kaylee Hunter takes third, and Bella takes fourth, and then Cheyenne takes fifth. Do you think, all right, right now, would those be those five in some order? Would that be your top five?
It's hard to not have Gina in there, in my
Okay.
opinion. So I would actually put Gina in
Over
over
who?
Bella.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, we know Bella's got the potential.
Even in singles?
Oh, see, that's tough.
That's what I'm
'cause
saying.
Gina
I'm saying
really is like
singles.
a locked up. Yeah, I'll give that nod
Okay.
to Bella for singles.
Okay.
She is dirty.
Perhaps the most, some would argue, might be the most talent like filled division, like the most competitive is junior doubles.
Yeah.
You had Gabriel Clausen and Logan Dupler. They beat out Asher Plummer and Donovan Vasquez. Listen, Clausen and Dupler are both very good. They're both drafted extremely high. I'll be completely honest. I'm not super familiar with Gabriel Clausen, but he had himself a weekend. Logan Dupler, I've heard the name before. I've seen him play. I know he's very, very talented. So
Yeah. It's just no
Yeah.
surprise to anyone.
kind of
that
a
took it
recipe
down.
for success because Gabriel Clausen also won junior singles. Bryce Forbes takes second. And then Ethan Varias takes third place. I think it's important to kind of remember that name because he's going to be coming up soon in the draft. All right. So
Is it draft time now?
I think it is, man. All right. So this weekend we had the. Oh, and if I know everyone's like sitting there listening, like when are they going to get to the drama stuff? Dramatic readings are after this stuff, so just hang tight.
Actually, maybe we do listener questions before dramatic readings.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Can make people wait. It's
All right.
fine.
All right. So team draft this weekend. If you've been on Facebook the last few days, I've been pretty vocal about just the lack of information going into the draft because the order when I went and watched it was nothing like it was. And then there was talk in when the analysts were talking about it, like they mentioned that there were trades, but there was no mention of like what the trades actually were. Like
Yeah.
what the fuck actually happened. The only ones that were really posting about trades was Michigan. I mean, luckily they had several trades, but I applaud Michigan for at least doing it right, like taking this seriously. Like if you're gonna you want to be considered a real thing, you got to start.
And
doing
they were
some
the
of
one
work.
team that didn't have to draft anybody.
And we'll get into this a little bit more later. But what I wanted to do was let's go through the draft, and we'll kind of just mention some of the names and where they got drafted. And then what I want to do is break down each team. We do have team rosters. I want to give a huge shout out to Angel Rodriguez. This dude put together a compiled list of each team and their current rosters to the best of his ability, and they're based off of responses from team captains that they have. So if there's any errors, we're going to blame the pro captains that responded to them. But it's to the best of our knowledge, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
If there's any errors, we apologize, but life will go on.
I mean, we would be able to do this ourselves if the team captains would update their pages. So.
Correct. But we'll get to that more.
Hey, fair enough.
All right. So it was probably the worst kept secret in the league once the Colorado Timber traded with Marauders for the
Why
number
would
one
they
pick.
do that, Sean?
So they end up taking Jason Rubin,
Shocked.
number one pick overall. His pro partner Ryan Trader is there.
Hey, we got one right.
We did nailed it.
That's
I'm
about
happy
as good
that
as it went.
most of the names that came down in the top 16, most of them, I had somewhere.
Yeah,
I would
we-
say I had at least 8. Just the order was
Yeah,
obviously
we mentioned
clearly
them here and
messed
there,
up a
but-
little bit. So the Marauders end up trading their pick at number 1
Yes,
and their second round pick,
I believe so. Yes.
and
yeah,
then
it was their second round.
and they got back in return Caden Allen, the 7th overall, and then something else, like another later round pick. The Marauders end up basically turning the number 1 pick in the draft into their roster,
Yeah.
right? They end up trading away number 1 pick. They end up getting for that number 1 pick Caden Allen, Frank Modlin, Chad Hunt, Tommy Silker, and Baby Goat.
which is
I mean, if you really follow the trade along for the number 1 pick, they end up getting those players.
yeah, which is nuts. I mean,
And that filled their roster. So they went into the draft be like, we're done.
they
We're
treated
good.
this like a fantasy draft, like for fantasy.
I mean,
football.
honestly,
like,
though,
it was a beautiful thing. Like it was kind of nuts.
I mean, it was go out and get the guys you want.
Yep.
And it is what it is. So hats
No
off
question
to
marks on their team.
hats off to Michigan. So second round pick, Chicagoland Spinners traded up. Again, no idea what the trade was. They traded with the Virginia Cutters, so I don't know what happened there. But Gary Bearpaw was taken by Mark Richards there. It doesn't shock me. Gary is super talented coming over from the ACO. We've mentioned his name before. It was a little surprising just because I wonder if he would have been there later. Like if that's somebody you're talking. I don't know though.
I mean, he does have name power in the community.
What I'd be interested to know is, did Chicago trade up just so they made sure that they got Gary, or did they just happen to get the second pick? They're like, all right, well now who do we get? Because we know Ruben's gone.
Might as well just take Gary. Yeah, no, I think they went after Gary Bearpaw.
Okay. And again, like he's a very good player.
Yeah.
You can have him kind of play anywhere.
I mean, honestly, of the rookie class, he has the best pedigree.
When we go
coming
over
in.
the teams list, we'll be able to get a better idea.
I should
of like
say
where...
most tenured. I don't know about best.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Pick number 3, Georgia Sliders pick Logan Dupler. Again, if you're going after like younger talent, I know he was one of the top names on most people's boards, so it makes sense. I think that's probably who Virginia was maybe hoping fell there, but obviously Georgia slides in. No pun intended.
Haha. No, there was
Nailed
pun
it.
intended.
Oh, fully intended. Logan Dupler. I think it's gonna be solid.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
California Slingers. We did get this pick right. Just the order was a little messed up, but the California Slingers move up in the draft and they get Tony Forbes coming back to the team. It was no shock to me. Like it would have been more kind of a slap to the face if they didn't go with Tony Forbes because he was a key
Especially
piece
if he's just
to the
there.
championship team last year. I'm kind of surprised they let him go.
As long as he was available,
yeah,
they had to take him. So
correct.
No surprise.
Virginia Cutters. So they originally had the second pick. They traded back to pick 5 and they go with Gabriel Clausen. Now, I was pretty vocal last week saying that if the Cutters passed on Jackson Gore at 2, I just didn't see how that made sense. Like I even reached out to Logan Chamberlain and be like, don't overthink things, man.
Yeah.
Like, so I've gotten a little bit of insight that there might have been that Jackson and Jacob did not want to play on the same team.
Which, I mean,
again, if you're playing as
to
pro
each their own, I
partners
guess,
and like you want to do your own thing, I get it. As a like a manager though, like you bring Jackson on and then you have either a doubles team or if you want them to play singles, guess what? You can. Jackson Gore just fucking took second overall in the Open.
yeah. Can we just
He
have
seems
the
like
twin
he'd be a pretty
Terrors go out
solid.
there
Yeah,
and be
they're
terrors?
going to be your fucking singles players.
Yeah.
So they're on the same team, but they're not playing together. Just go win.
Yeah.
And again, this is nothing against Gabriel. Like I'm sure I'm just not super familiar. I know he had a very good weekend. I'm sure he's very talented. But there's something to be said about you've been there, done that. You got to remember, at least one of your games is going to be on a broadcast. Do you want someone that's been there and has thrived under the bright lights, or do you want someone that could shit the bed, or he's going to be the next? He could be rookie of the year. We don't even know.
It's the great equalizer.
Correct.
So being on the main stage. So
next pick at number 6, Texas Bully Baggers. I love this pick. They go with Quinn Reeves. I think it was very smart.
yes.
You know what you're getting with Quinn. He's a very stand-up dude. He's really super talented. I think it was a very smart pick.
For sure. No,
For a team
I
that
like
is
that one.
mostly BG made up, it seems like Quinn Reeves kind of fit that mold.
For sure.
Arizona Burn at number 7 wins Zach Aiken. I'm not familiar with Zach's game. So if that's the guy they wanted, go after him and get your guy.
Get him.
The Missouri Mays at number 8 get Jackson Gore. And honestly, I was kind of surprised he lasted that long.
For sure. I mean, it's a great draft pick at 8, I feel like. With the names in front of him.
I know Jackson didn't seem super thrilled, and he even said he was a little surprised he lasted that long. But I don't know if he was expected to get picked by Virginia.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know. Now, looking at this, maybe he wanted to get picked by Virginia. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
But Missouri Mays got themselves a really good pick all the way down at 8. That's very
for
solid.
sure.
At number 9, also having a solid weekend, the Kentucky Colonels go with Mason Trader. So
Which-
when I first heard that, I'm like, this makes no sense. Like, what are we trying? Like, are we just trying to lower the average age of the Colonels here? Because last year, if you remember, older squad. A
Yeah, I mean, my
senior squad,
nickname
we'll
for
call
him
it.
was the Krusty Colonels.
Yeah, Krusty Colonels. Well, apparently they're going a month. They want to bring out the bright yellow Colonels again.
The young Colonels.
The young Colonels. Number 10, Ohio Aviators. Right. So we had some pull. I tried to
Well, hang
influence
on,
this pick.
Kentucky Colonels. Did you say that they took Mason Trader?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I didn't catch you saying it.
Yeah. So
But
pick
hang on,
10.
Mason Trader.
Yes. Ohio Aviators. They go with Riker Wells. And it makes a little bit more sense after seeing
With
that
him and Almanza,
Almanza
having
playing
a
together.
weekend. It does. Like he actually mentioned it like in his post that he really liked throwing with him.
Yeah,
So I mean, maybe that's your doubles team. You just got
I think
one
that's
of your
probably
doubles teams right there.
it's probably. I mean, you already have Gavin Cano as singles and Trey Birchfield.
In singles. Boom. So yeah, I mean it's not a bad move.
I mean, I was a little annoyed when I saw it because I'm like, they're both guys that I thought that I would have loved to
They're
see
sitting
Ohio
right
get.
there. I
We're
know.
sitting right there. But anyways, number 11, Carolina Coasters. And I think this is going to be a very underrated pick. Matt Wilson. I think they got a really good player at number 11.
For sure.
I really do. I think Matt Wilson lasting this long, especially coming off of a weekend where he
Where he
backed
threw
up.
well,
Yeah,
yeah.
where he just backed up all the kind of the question marks of a rookie going in. Las Vegas High Rollers go with Brandon Patterson. Again, not super familiar with him. I'm sure he's very talented if Las Vegas is taking him this early. Carolina Coasters, with their second pick in the first round, go with Fath Sem.
We were actually talking about this as being a kind of a sneaky, brilliant pick for them.
When we go over the roster, it's going to make more
Yeah.
sense, I think. Kentucky Colonels also had 2 picks in the first round. So they started off with Mason Trader, and then at pick 15, they go with Cash Chamness. And I know I skipped over one. I'll get back to it. Sorry. Missouri Mays at 14 picked Austin Cameron. In my mock draft or like predictions, I had Mason going much earlier. I had him going at like 3rd overall.
Yeah.
I thought like Georgia Sliders would take somebody that's like, again, it's just, do you want the brand new shiny toy or do you want someone that's been there and who's made 2 broadcasts before?
Very
I mean, like in doubles, like the kid's really good. So again, Missouri Mays starting the draft off with Austin Cameron and then Jackson Gore. I think that
It's
is
nice
a
and honestly,
phenomenal first round by Missouri
and on
Mays.
paper, I think those two as a doubles team sound really good too.
It doesn't matter. You just want to fill talent right
Exactly.
now. I want
You
as
can
much
figure
talent.
out
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll find something that'll mesh. But right now, I want talented dudes on my team. So I thought Missouri Mays did very, very well. And I thought Carolina Coasters, from where they're drafting from at 11 and then 13, getting Fath Sem and Matt Wilson, I thought that was a really good start for them.
Really
as
nice
well.
start, yeah.
Kentucky Colonels, if Cash Chamness is as good as he was this weekend all year, and same with Mason Trader, all right, maybe that's going to make sense.
For sure. I mean, they dropped their age.
Again, that could be the doubles team right there.
3/4 of the average age. They dropped it down with those 2 picks.
So other notable teams, I don't want to go through like every pick in every round.
Yeah.
Other notable names. I told you before, Ethan Farias, pay
Mhm.
attention, younger dude, had a really good weekend. He was picked by the Kentucky Colonels, and then the back-to-back pick, Kentucky Colonels also picked Tyler Stratton.
Which is another nice pick.
Yeah, I mean, so they loaded up with young talent. I
Yeah.
mean, Kentucky Colonels, I mean, they're going to be fun to watch.
For sure.
It's going to be Matt Guy as the ringleader. It's like running a daycare
Yeah.
at some point, but I mean, hey.
But then, hey, sitting there early in the round 2 is our boy, once again, his name, Colin Hodet, coming out.
Going Missouri Mays.
Going Missouri Mays, man. I'm telling you, as soon as we saw this list last night when we were going through it, we're all like, man, Missouri Mays put together a squad.
I can picture Austin Cameron and Colin Hodet throwing together.
Very true.
They throw the same freaking style game. They
Yep.
throw a very similar bag. Put them on doubles. They're going to do very well. I mean, I think that's very smart.
Gonna frustrate the hell out of people.
They could be your tandem team.
Exactly. Same side. Same result.
Same result. One of my favorite players going into the draft, he lasted number 20. I think Virginia Cutter is getting Ty Thompson out of Texas right there. I think that's a very sneaky good pick. I think that is definitely like a homer pick. Logan Chamberlain, like, dude, my boy is still there. Like,
Yeah.
what are we? I mean,
Can
I
we-
really thought that's who they could have gone with in the first round.
I really thought so too,
But
but
hats off to them that he lasted this long. It is what it
for
is.
sure.
David Brown, I told you before, pay attention to that name. Georgia Sliders, adding him to a Logan Dupler. I think that's adding young talent to the team is a very smart pick. Arizona Burn getting Candler Bag is a very underrated pick. And then backing it up and getting Gina Ramirez. So solidifying your female spot, you're adding 3 very talented players on your team. Like, I think that Arizona Burn got off to a very good start too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Dia Lee getting drafted by scroll up.
She's with Mays.
Missouri Mays. So again,
Yeah.
Missouri Mays again filling in that spot for female player that you needed.
with a top tier talent that
Yeah, correct. And
could
somebody
really
that's
surprise some
excited.
people this year.
Somebody
Yeah.
that's excited about being there, and you're going to get her best every single
Don't
time.
forget, she's already a 9-time champion.
Yeah.
In football, so yeah, she knows how to win.
The next pick
Scary.
was for Ohio Aviators at number 28, Hunter Yacklin. This is no shot at anybody, but like he's like, I know he's good, and like I always hear that he's good, but like he's never really shown it that much,
Yeah.
like on the main stage.
I
Like
want to see the shimmer.
I see other
Where's the
names down
shimmer?
here that like I probably would have gone with, but
Yeah,
but it's not my team.
because
so.
they picked him up in the 3rd round.
All right, so the other name in the 3rd round that I was hoping that somebody was going to scoop him up earlier. I think Ohio Aviators got a very good pick in getting Chase Lester at 37. I'm kind of
Could
surprised.
be like the steal of this draft. In my
Yeah,
opinion.
man. He just dominated the ACL or ACO. And he did really well in ACO. He did really well in TCL this last year. We've seen that before. People that do well in the TCL and they come over to the ACL, it translates very, very well.
And with how fast he became to that level, like when we first saw him, he was just getting into that level.
Yeah.
And now he's already at the top of it. There's only room to go up for him.
Yeah.
So
Can I just other random names I'm seeing here?
yeah.
Carolina Coasters getting Steve Schroeder. Remember Fath Sem? Just there's going to be a theme with some of these guys that we're getting.
For sure.
Florida Freeze getting Jeremy Frazier in the 3rd round feels a little disrespectful that a guy that talented, that's been a pro year after year, was getting passed up by guys
There's
that
so many people excited about the young talent coming
man,
in that
like-
I think his name just slipped through the cracks.
yeah,
People
it's-
probably just assumed he was kept on a team.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh shit, Jeremy's not on a
Yeah.
team.
Another name that I was surprised lasted as long as it did was Brandon Earls, Pennsylvania Ringers, grabbing him. I thought it was a very good pick, a sneaky good pick, getting him that late in the 3rd round.
Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah! All right, so you want to break down these teams?
Yeah. You
All
got the breakdown over
do.
there? Break it down.
Do you want me to try to share this, or
Do we have like a breakdown song or something?
can I share this to you?
Sure.
Do you want to pull it up on the screen?
Sure. Breakdown time.
I'm sending it to you on.
Oh, why don't you just airdrop it?
I can't. It won't let me see it. It's a Google Doc. I can just pull it up on my phone. Should be fine.
No, I got it here. You pull it up on your phone to start. I'll
right.
get it going.
So the ACL Pro Team. So we're gonna break this down into divisions. So the first division, we're gonna start with Virginia Cutters. All right. So we already talked about some of their draft picks. Their captains were Logan Chamberlain, Justin Stranger. Returning players are Leston Allen, Jacob Gore, Sammy Soto, and Lexi Hugeback. They drafted Gabriel Clausen, Ty Thompson, Brady Foster, Austin Kipple, Oscar Morena, who's another name that I think people need to recognize. He's coming out of the TCL. He's a very solid player.
Mm-hmm.
He's always kind of in the mix in TCL events. And Kimberly Jenkins. So we wanted to talk a little bit about, like, we want to give each team a draft grade. All right. Do we want to go through all of them and then come back and give draft grades? Or are you ready just to give a grade right now?
Let's double back.
You want to double back?
I'm trying to get this guy open for
Okay.
you real quick, and then
All right.
we can go off of here because
So
I need
just-
to read it.
If I'm really looking at this right away, I think that you have Sammy Soto and probably Jacob Gore that are going to be I would imagine they're going to be your singles guys.
You would hope so, or,
I mean,
assume.
Yeah, I would assume
Yeah.
that those are going to be your singles guys. Logan Chamberlain's going to be a doubles guy. Justin Stranger can be doubles or crew cup. And then you're adding guys like Ty Thompson, who, again, you put him with Logan Chamberlain in doubles. Like, you feel pretty strong throwing those two out together.
Yeah,
Familiar with their games. They throw a similar bag. Oscar Morena is more of like I don't want to call him a slick side player, but he's more of like a slide airmail kind of guy.
I don't mean to stop your mojo. How about you just send me screenshots because I can't open that document.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
I can do that too.
Look at us. Innovation. Shazam. Ba-ba-ba. Tick-a-tow-tow-tow.
Send
I
it
think
to you.
we had a
There it is.
joint agreement after reading through the entire draft, though, that everyone actually seemed like they drafted pretty damn well.
Yeah. So,
It wasn't too questionable.
all right. So Florida Freeze Captains, they're starting off with Alex Rawls and Matthew Sorrells. Returning players, they have Cheyenne Bubenheim, Blaine Rogier, Alan Rawls, and Chris Kingsbury. We were already talking about just their start, their core player. They're already really freaking good. So they didn't really have to enter this draft being like, we need to fill a lot of holes. So we don't need to add tons of talent. Like they're already fucking loaded with talent and starting off with this team. In the draft, they added Jeremy Frazier. It failed?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on. It's very annoying.
All right, don't worry about it. I got it here. Jeremy Frazier, Tyler Goodwin, Fisher Hamilton was obviously traded.
Yes.
Curtis Haddock, and Anthony Eastridge. I think that, again, if you add automatically Fisher Hamilton up to that group, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you add Frazier automatically, that's 8. So, I mean, you're already starting off with some studs. And then Crew Cup, again, it's just you need 4 guys just to go out there and play well. Just put 4 solid players on your team.
Yeah.
So again, they didn't have really high draft picks. They spent a lot of their draft capital on Fisher Hamilton. But you know, I think that their core is still good. So if we're giving are we giving a team draft grade or a draft grade?
I think it needs to be
Like a whole team, right?
I think it's a whole team.
Okay.
How you see it all encompassing.
The other team in this division is the Georgia Sliders. The captains are Ryan Smith and Cameron Belvin. And then they're returning Ryan Wiedenfeld, Bobby Hunt, and Trey Hunt. They drafted Logan Dupler, David Brown, Trevor Kufis, Riley Schaff, Carter Bennett, Ben Brown, Navarro Dip, and Logan Hall. So I think that Ryan Smith is a very smart captain. I think he had a vision of going in there, starting off getting Dupler and Brown, and then even Kufis. I think people forget that he's actually a really sneaky good player. Like he's had very solid finishes.
Oh yeah,
last year I don't think was quite as good as the year before, but he's still a very solid player
for sure, and he's been there.
He's not going to cause any issues.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's a very solid pick that late in the draft. And getting Riley Schaff again, you only have to start one female, but I don't. She's a name that most people in the cornhole world are probably familiar with, but I think she's going to do very, very well this year.
She seems to be on the rise for sure.
Correct. Carolina Coasters. Their captain is Jamie Graham and Eric Davis, and they're returning Kaylee Hunter and Colby Shearer. Now, they also were originally keeping Tommy Silker and Chad Hunt, but they traded them away to the Michigan Marauders, so we'll get to that in a little bit. They drafted Matt Wilson, Fast Sem, Mike Hoffman, Steve Schroeder, Josiah Aragran, well, however we say that, and Dawson Manuel.
I think you got to roll your R.
I think that
Aragran.
just looking at how all this pans out, I mean, I think you have Jamie Graham and Eric Davis are probably your singles guys.
Yeah.
Colby Shearer is I feel so bad. The guy was traded 4 times on draft day, but everyone he's a guy that most people want on their team.
Yeah. Must be really likable.
You put Schroeder, Hoffman, Sem, and then you pick somebody else. Probably Matt Wilson. You put those guys in a crew cup. That is a nice little squad there.
All could throw slick side down. Just
Carolina is going to be one of those teams that you look at their squad and you're like, wow, you're not shocked with name power, but they have sneaky potential to do well in this division.
They do.
All right, so the next division up, we're going to kick it off with the New England Woodchucks. The captains are Jeremiah Ellis and Jimmy Humans, and then they were returning Alec Ryan, Zach Scheibner, Hunter Thorson, and Jacob Trzynski. They drafted Ian Cripps, who's another name can you believe that kid lasted that long?
I know.
It's almost disrespectful.
It really is.
I mean, the kid won a fucking open event last year as a pro, and he's lasting that long.
I
That's so
know.
crazy to me.
And he has only
Did he get traded?
increased.
Or did he get drafted? You pull
I
up
don't know.
you still have the draft up list?
It's right here.
Just scroll through that. Just see if you see him somewhere. There's no
Would he
way.
be
He
up?
had to have gotten traded. 'Cause I think he was kept by somebody, and then he must have been traded. 'Cause I think he might have been with the Timber. I think the Timber sounds
Yeah.
familiar, right?
That might have been part of. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, they drafted Ian Cripps, Maddie McBride, Ryan Hart. They got him in a trade. Katie Bartle, and Brandon Davis. So they ended up getting Ryan Hart in a trade, which is very sneaky because now all of a sudden you add Ryan Hart to this list. So now Jeremiah Ellis can either go singles or doubles. I think that if you're really breaking it down, it doesn't make sense to me to not put Jeremiah Ellis and Jacob Trzynski in singles.
I agree.
You
Because then
need
you're
your two
pretty
alpha
much
dogs
got
going
two
out there.
locks almost, like
You
you would
need-
hope.
Well, you have two really good chances to win. Like
Yeah.
you know, like you need that, and those are 2 points. It's best of 5. You know what I mean? Like you if you can go out and win both singles matches, you're putting yourself in a pretty good chance that you're going to win the match.
Yeah, and I think honestly, Humans and Crips would be a nice little doubles team.
Yeah, and Maddie McBride is one of those players. She can play she can play doubles. She can play crew cup.
Yeah,
I think she's very
she'll be
versatile.
Good.
Ian
anywhere.
Cripps again, like it's just getting better every year he's been a pro. So it's kind of crazy to me. Michigan Marauders, they did not have a single draft pick. They turned in the number 1 draft pick overall into Chad Hunt, Tommy Slicker, Frank Modlin, Caden Allen, and Alex Hicks. Their captains were Jordan Power and Jeremy Schermerhorn. They were returning Joe Niestedt, Sarah Cassidy, Jaden Ellis, and Empher. That's a good squad.
They built a great team. Yeah, I mean it's a solid team. I mean, and the way that they did it was just different than everyone else.
I think this squad, just looking at how it's kind of built, you have Jaden Ellis going out there and he's going to be your singles guy.
Yep.
I think you looking at this, you probably have Jordan Power go play
singles
and then I think you have Schermerhorn and Niestedt. You have them as your tandem.
for sure.
And then you traded for a top tier doubles team.
Yep.
You have Chad Hunt and Tommy that are going to run shit, and they're going to be your doubles team. I mean, to me, it really makes sense. Like as they constructed this team, it's crazy to me that
Just listen.
I'm trying to find
Sean,
out like where Jordan Power fits.
Let me
into
say this: if you in that scenario that you just put out there, this would be their crew cup team: Sarah Cassidy, Frank Modlin, Caden Allen, and Alex Hicks.
dude, right?
How disgusting
I'm
is that
saying.
lineup?
Like they're really. I mean, they did.
God damn,
listen,
that's nasty.
I hate to say it because fuck Michigan, but like tip of the cap to Jordan Power and Jeremy Schermerhorn. And first of all, thank you very much for keeping everybody updated. It was nice to follow along, kind of see your whole thought process. And when I went back and I'm like, all right, let's see what they turned number 1 into. And me and you were like recapping all this stuff. We're like, holy shit! Like,
Yeah.
look what they turned number 1 pick into.
Yeah,
well
I mean,
done.
it's top to bottom. They
Hell
just
yeah.
like built a really solid squad.
All right, so the Aviators. Let's go back home.
Let's.
The
Take me
captains are Noah
home.
Almanza and Trey Birchfield. They were returning Gavin Cano, Bella, and Carson Getty. They were also returning Fisher Hamilton, who they traded away.
Yes.
They drafted Riker Wells, Hunter Yacklin, Chase Lester. They traded for Philip Lopez Jr., Peyton Haynes, Tyler Cobb, and Nate Long. It's a very solid squad. Okay, like
It is.
Nate Long again is a guy that most people are forgetting about. He's fucking rock solid.
Well, and Lopez Jr. Like, what a
Yeah, getting that's just
solid,
a nice little nugget.
Yeah, just a nice nugget in there, man. Like that's a solid pickup.
So we were looking at like just roster construction. If I were the captain of this team and I was putting a squad out there, I think you got to put Cano and Birchfield as your singles. You have Almanza, and they went out and drafted Riker Wells for you, so your
Yeah.
doubles there. And then, I mean, take your pick. Who do you want to play? Like, I mean, there again, you look at their crew cup squad.
Yeah, I mean, you still got to fill that tandem too, but I think you could do that with Getty and Lester, or Yacklin and Lester, or Yacklin Lopez. I mean, there's a lot of combos for that tandem doubles.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, again, another solid squad.
It is. All right, so moving on, the Pennsylvania Ringers. Captains are JBJ and Devin Harbaugh, and they were returning Gage Landis, Tubby Cobb, and Elizabeth Tennyson. They drafted Gio Mora, Brandon Earls, Kobe Costanza, Clayton Kennedy, and they traded for Ryan Windsor. And they have Tice Cobb. So it's interesting that they traded Ryan Windsor off of the maze, because wasn't he like?
I think he was the co-cap or the.
I know the co-captains are allowed to be traded.
Yeah.
So does that mean Bernasette was like the main captain then? He had to have been.
I think so. Yeah.
Because you can't like trade yourself if you're a captain.
Yeah.
So interesting. I mean, Devin Harbaugh and JBJ, I would think have got to be your singles guys.
Yeah.
If I'm putting a team together, you either put Windsor and Costanza or Windsor and Landis. Yeah, I'd probably go Windsor and Landis
Then you can have Tyson Tubby be the tandem.
Yeah, probably.
Then that leaves you Tennyson, Mora, Earls, and Costanza.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty solid
That's
squad.
pretty squad. Yeah,
that's a
pretty
pretty
good
solid
squad.
squad. You have the Slingers, California Slingers, your reigning champions. Captains are Tony Smith and Corey Gilbert. Returning Dean Norton, Ricky G, Kyle Malone, and then they traded for Damon Dennis. They drafted Tony Forbes, Brandon Martinez, Zach Atkins, Devin Keene, Michaela Calvi, Andy Phillips, and Pedro Zazueta Jr.
Okay.
Again, like California, like we liked their roster
Zazueta
last
Jr.
time.
was the last pick of the draft.
Yeah. I just don't know. I'll be interested to see roster construction. I mean, obviously you have Tony Smith. He's going to be your singles guy. I would imagine you got to run Dean Norton and Corey Gilbert together in probably
As your
either tandem or doubles.
Yeah.
Probably go Tony Smith and Kyle Malone as singles. I mean, you could put Damon
I
Dennis
I
out
was
in
actually
singles.
thinking maybe Forbes with Smith, and then maybe have Dennis and Malone for
Yeah,
the
maybe.
double squad.
Yeah. I mean, they have some variability. So, like, I do like the flexibility of that there could be change. Like,
Yeah.
they strike me as a team that they might take one or two matches to kind of
Figure it out.
Yeah, to kind of see what might work the most. The Las Vegas High Rollers were next. You had the captains are Tanner Halbert and Hunter Thorne. They were returning Kaylee Hunter, Easy, Jordan Kamba, and Cody Henderson. So it's like 2003 called.
Exactly. They just oldies but goodies.
They drafted Brandon Patterson, Dalton McClem, Jalen Jones, Justin Duke, Emily Downer, Miranda Coy, and Duncan Clemmer. I mean, it's like they were like, we're not going to get anybody like really young. I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to go with no names kind of pretty
Mhm.
much. I mean, outside of Brandon Patterson, like I know pretty much all these players pretty well.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, it's a good, I don't think we know exactly where we're going to see people fit in quite yet, but it's very good. It's a very versatile squad.
Are
to
they
start
the
off with.
only team to have 3 females on it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it was crazy to me that like just because I think there was 8 of the 16 needed a female like in the draft. Like you
Yeah.
had to draft at least one. You had to roster 2. It was crazy to me that like Miranda Coy lasted as long as she
Well, I
did.
think that's why she got drafted where they're at.
Yeah,
They're like,
'cause
we
she got
already have a
drafted in
female,
the,
but like,
what,
how is
3rd round?
Miranda still here? So
Yeah.
they're like, we'll take her. Yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised that she lasted that long, but not a
Interesting.
decent squad. They're just doing it a little different.
Arizona Burn were next. You had the captains were Chris Royball and Landon Crabtree. They were returning Jeff Reynolds, Derek Holland, and Corey Morrison. They drafted Zach Aiken, Candler Bagg, Gina Ramirez, Hayden Gonzalez, Lucas Householder, Tristan Deese, Gabe Dolan, and Trevor Brooks. I kind of like this team, man.
I do too. I mean, because you created multiple possibilities with doubles tandems.
I'd be interested to see who are going to be your singles. I think you got to go Royball as your single, and then maybe Holland, or I mean, you could go with a Hayden Gonzalez. Yeah, again, they're pretty versatile. I don't think they have like their 2 alphas yet.
Yeah,
on their
because I mean,
team.
like you have a doubles team and Reynolds and Householder. You had a previous
Yeah.
doubles team and Royball and Ramirez.
Are they pro partners this year?
Who?
Reynolds and Householder?
Yeah.
Are they? Okay.
Well, I mean, they played the first Open together, so. I'm
Oh, yeah.
assuming.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. All right. So the next team, and then getting Trevor Brooks for Arizona at the end of that is
There's a nice little cherry
great
on
pick.
top. I mean, to me, he's the one that like throw him in any crew cup or tandem and just let him rip.
All right. So we got the Colorado Timber next. The captains are Adam Hissner and Ryan Trader. They were returning Connie Altice, Caleb Moldenka, and
Yeah,
that was it. They
that was
traded
it.
away pretty much everyone else. They drafted Jay Rubin, Julius Reyes, Tony Mayball, Malin Dela Cruz, Jacob Foreman, and Austin Schlobaum. So again, like I'm gonna be interested to see who else is kind of there, like because they need to pick up.
I mean,
some
they
players.
kind of forced it on themselves that you have to have Trader and Ruben be your doubles team now.
Yeah, so they need
They're
to
gonna
pick
have
up
a
at
lot of
least 2.
pickups.
You got to have at least 12 rosters, so they're
Yeah.
going to have 2 pickups. So I'll be interested. They gave up a lot for Jay Rubin, but again, you don't know what they're going to do. Adam's definitely going to play singles, and I think you got to put either Jay Rubin or Trader in singles. I really do, because I think
But
Jay
again,
Rubin
I feel
can.
like they handcuff themselves with that. I mean, you could throw like a Mayball or something in singles too.
No, I think you put Hisner and Trader in singles, and Jay Rubin can play with anybody in the world and get the best out of him.
That's true.
I truly believe that.
Very true.
So the Missouri Mays we were talking about before, they had a very solid draft. The captains were Ethan Walker and Steven Bernasette. They were returning Isidro Herrera, Vincent Frisch. So apparently it must have been Windsor that was one of their other players that they traded.
Yeah.
They drafted Jackson Gore, Austin Cameron, Colin Hodet, Dia Lee, Chase Frieden, Justin Dermody, Chris Wagner, Terry Mathis, and Adrian Brunson. I mean, that's a pretty good squad, man.
It's a
I really
really
like
good
that. I
squad.
really like that team.
They're youthful for sure, but they're another one that has a bunch of combinations. And like you have a guy in Steven Bernasette who to me can play with anyone in doubles and take it down.
I mean, I'm looking at this right away. If I were captain, I would go Ethan Walker singles, Jackson Gore single. I go Steven Bernasette and Isidro together. I'm sure they've played before. They play a very
Exactly.
similar style.
Then I'll go like Frisch and Brunson or something as another doubles
yes,
or something.
probably. I mean, they're familiar with
I
playing
mean, we
with each
also
other.
mentioned possibility of like Austin Cameron and Colin Hodet.
Yeah, and then you have the other
game
ones just fill in for crew cut. I mean,
Yeah.
I really think they have a very solid squad. I like that team. Chicagoland Spinners are next. We had captains were Mark Richards and Nico Morellis. They were returning Frank Verona, Zachary Angleton, Sebastian Schaefer-Ford, and David Morse. Schaefer-Ford's another name that most people, you've probably seen it pop up, familiarize yourself, because the guy just has been playing very, very well.
Yeah.
I think he's team swag bags this year. Super talented dude. I want to get him on the show. He seems very eccentric. Like he dresses up a lot for like these like tournaments
sure.
and stuff. So, but he very solid
I mean,
squad
his name's
start.
Sebastian.
Yeah, it's very true.
Nothing better than
They
that.
drafted Gary Bearpaw, Juwan Smith, Matthew Creekkiller, Zane Krotz, Ernesto Cineros, and Vanessa Phillim. I don't know, man. I think it has potential. I think it does have potential. I think there's
This
been
is just
stronger
one of those
teams.
that like, right off the page, it doesn't like grab me, but like not all of these teams have.
Well, like a guy
They're
like
still
David,
good
like a guy
squads,
like
though.
David Morse, that to me, like that a guy like that matters. If you're keeping him, he's coming off a very good season. I know I think he's playing doubles this year with Schaefer-Ford. So if that's
Okay.
the case, like,
You got a nice double squad
yeah,
there.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, or at least I know that they just won a regional or
Yeah.
something together. So, yeah, it's a solid squad. I mean, obviously you have Mark Richards that's going to play singles, and I imagine you have Gary Bearpaw. You
That's
drafted
what I'm
him for a
thinking,
reason.
too. Or is Bearpaw there with Creek Killer?
Maybe. Oh, that's actually a good call. Yeah,
'Cause
I don't know. I don't know. They're both from like the same like squad, like that DC cornhole.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so the next team, the Colonels. So no
Not
longer the
crusty
crusty
any
Colonel.
longer,
No.
yeah.
You have Matt Guy and Justin Rule were the captains. They were returning Brett Guy and Samantha Finley. They traded away some others. They drafted Mason Trader, Cash Chamness, Ethan Farias, Tyler Stratton, Cameron DeBrasio, Rosie Streaker, and Mike Jacquez. So getting Streaker and Finley.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's smart. You needed two females. You might as well get her doubles partner. She's still
Exactly.
sitting there. Looking at this squad, like they are loaded with young talent. I think you have, man, I almost think you do Matt and Brett just play singles and then you figure it out from there. Or maybe you have, I don't know.
Maybe Matt
Justin in singles.
Yeah, Matt and Justin in singles, and then yeah, I think that could work out. I mean, just imagine if they just went youngsters on their crew cup.
Yep. So all right, so bully baggers. We have the captains are Eddie Grindersleeve and AJ Sims. They were returning Caleb Batson, Dylan Turpin, and Austin Waskow. They drafted Quinn Reeves, Jeremiah Hector, Deb Odom, Linda Peralta, Owen Crick, and John Mendoza. So looking at the squad, just because I know a lot of these players, I think they constructed a very solid team. I think seeing how everything worked out, I think you have AJ Sims playing singles.
Yeah, I agree.
You have Grindersleeve and Turpin there. Like, do you say like, all right, we're gonna play doubles, and then you let Batson play singles? Because you also have another doubles team we put together with Waskow and Quinn Reeves.
Yeah.
So like that pairing alone, already with the guys you kept, it gives them a lot of variability that they can play with. and they're loaded with talent. So Texas is very well set up. So if we scroll all the way back up to the top,
Okay.
Virginia
Starting with the
Cutters.
grades.
Virginia Cutters. So you want to alternate? Like you go first, and the next one I'll go first.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, I'm gonna write mine down each time. Okay.
All right, so Virginia Cutters. To me, just because it was like curveballs, I'll give them a solid. I'll give them a B to start off.
Okay. I'm giving them a C.
Okay.
Again, Gabriel Clausen could work out. I just thought that they were drafting where they did. I thought there were other names that maybe could have been there.
I honestly like just the players that they're keeping though. Like they kept a lot of good talent as
Yeah.
well. So like looking at the comparisons and stuff, yeah, I'll give them a B.
Okay. All right. So Florida Freeze. Again, drafting. I guess you have to consider part of that draft is Fisher Hamilton that you're getting. Just because if we're doing not just the draft, right, the whole team squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. If I'm looking at the whole squad right now, it's really hard to kind of beat a roster like that to start.
I'm giving them.
I'm
giving them.
I'm gonna go A minus.
Yeah, I mean,
to start.
I'm going to give them a solid flat A. I mean,
All right. So then we got Georgia Sliders.
so Georgia Sliders, another one that kept some good talent. Has some sneaky picks in there. Overall, though, like I feel like there are some gaps, so I'm gonna give them a B minus.
Okay. I'm also gonna go with a C. Like
Okay.
I look at their team and I look at Virginia, I kind of see like some similarities. Like I think that they're both loaded with talent, but there's some question marks there. It's just how well some of these young guys are going to play like under like at a broadcast and stuff. Like when like those matches that that really
Yeah,
you want to win those.
for sure.
The next one is Carolina Coasters. This is a weird one, man, because I think they're one of those teams that could be sneaky good. I think I see the roster construction a little bit. I'm gonna give them a B.
Yeah, I'll give them a B plus actually, because I do like what they're trying to do here, and I think there's potential there.
Okay. Next team up is New England Woodchucks.
Again, love their name power right off the rip.
Again, getting
Adding
Ryan
some
Hart.
season vets, yeah.
Getting
and-
Ryan Hart in a trade is big. Getting Ian Cripps in a trade is big. I like adding Maddie McBride. Katie coming off of a really good weekend too. Getting Brandon Davis that late. I mean, again, just as a squad of the ones that we know that are on their team right now, I do like them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go a flat A as well.
So I'm gonna go B plus. Next one is Michigan Marauders. Now, for me, I loved what they were able to turn the picks into. I really did.
Yeah,
I have my biggest question mark is one of your returning players. If Joe Niestedt is Joe Niestedt 2 seasons ago, and Schermerhorn and Niestedt can bottle up some of that magic, I think this team is going to be really tough to beat.
for sure.
Really tough to beat.
And that's what I mean. Obviously, they're banking on that.
I think they did a phenomenal job building the roster top to bottom. Even their crew cup team is going to be fucking nasty.
Yeah,
You got to take things into account for this. I mean, going into the season, I'm gonna give them an A.
I'll give them an A as well, and it kills me because it is. Michigan.
It's hard to like look
I know,
against
there's
it.
there's not really any holes in it. Like they have a great team, and just to get Alex Hicks and Caden Allen in there, like, yeah, seals the deal.
The Ohio
Aviators.
Aviators. Now, again, this is, I think some people are going to be like, "Oh, you're homers," kind of thing. You got to remember too, like going into the playoffs last year, Aviators were, I think they were the top team.
Yeah,
Like they know, like they've been like in the playoffs the last 2 years. Like their team always tends to do very well. And I think looking at how they drafted, seeing the pieces that they're coming together, knowing that Almanza and Riker Wells are playing together, knowing that you got a guy like Chase Lester and Philip Lopez to kind of round out already like a very solid squad. You have the reigning world champion playing singles probably for you already, and Gavin Cano, who is perennial top 10 singles player.
yes,
I think if you start looking at it like that, I mean, to me, they deserve an A minus.
for sure. No, I agree 100%. And yeah, we were a little not bummed, but like didn't quite understand their first pick
I
until
get it now, though.
we get it.
Yeah, I
Like
get it now.
until we saw that. But very happy that they took Chase Lester where he was at.
Yes.
So yeah, I'll give him a B plus.
Okay. So we got the Pennsylvania Ringers next. Again, if you look at the team as a whole, I think I can see that they have a pretty good squad. I question some of the picks, like where they like Geo. Like I just don't know anything about the dude. Like he
Yeah.
could be phenomenal.
But to me, landing Windsor though is just such a huge plus in this whole mix.
It is. I mean, it really is. I mean, adding Windsor. You have Tubby and Tice Cobb there. You have Kobe Costanza. I mean, you could throw those three guys in a crew cup, add one more,
Yeah,
and it's just like they're playing in their fucking garage
exactly.
every day.
Yeah.
So
Is there another Cobb that went undrafted?
No, Tyler was drafted.
All right, so
Yeah. He was just on Ohio.
that'd be sad to be sweet to those, like all of them together. Anyways,
So Ringers, I mean, top to bottom again. Yeah, I'm gonna go B plus.
yeah, I'll follow suit. Actually, another solid squad.
We got the Slingers.
Yeah, I mean,
Again, okay, I know that they're world champions, but I'm looking at like who they drafted, just trying to figure this stuff out. I know that they did well last year in the round limited stuff, but I'm going just based off of like what I'm seeing. I know that last year there's always that down year right after a championship,
yeah, I mean,
so I'm gonna go with a B minus.
yeah, this is actually gonna be my first C.
Is it okay?
Yeah. Again, no slight. It's just I don't know. A lot of these other teams they have more realistic combinations when I'm looking at it.
So Las Vegas, you have a team filled with like notable players, right? The problem is some of those players have not like been like elite players, like a Jordan Kamba. You know what I mean? Like
And are they going to be as
does he still have it? I don't know.
Well, and are they going to be as gung ho about playing in teams, having to play more matches with an already exhausting weekend?
Yeah.
It's hard to take like all vets. I mean, there's definitely a reason why youth was taken early. It's because it's more cornhole and older bodies.
I mean, listen, looking
break
at their
down.
core players, and then you're adding like Coy and Clemmer. I mean, it's a pretty fucking solid start.
Yeah, but
Like,
again,
they're
which Clemmer are you going to get though?
No, I'm with you. That's why I'm giving them a C.
Okay, I'm going to match that as well.
All right, so we got Arizona Burn. Again, they're one of those teams that now that I'm looking at the whole picture together, it makes some sense. I worry a little bit about their singles players. They have some really good like doubles pairings, I feel like. But they have some variability. And again, I like adding a guy like Trevor Brooks that people forget, like he's not just like an intimidator. The guy's
he's
really
a
fucking good
Good
too.
cornhole player.
He's really good too.
There's a reason why the ACL literally can't get rid of him.
And again, like getting Reynolds and Householder, if they play together, great. But like, what are we gonna get?
Yeah, are they going to be successful playing together?
And we know we've seen Lucas for like the last 3 seasons. Like
Yeah.
we've watched him get better, make it to the pro
I mean,
rank,
he can walk into any building and be the best player in the room that day.
but he can also fall apart with one bad shot.
Yeah.
So, again, I like the squad. I'm gonna give them a B.
Arizona Burn consistently, I feel like ever since we started this teams thing, has always had the same style team where it was like maybe not the biggest name power, but they always just seemed like they would work. Like, you know, back in the Zaft days and stuff,
Yeah.
and him and Bag and Bill like together and like. So I'll go a B minus on it.
All right, so we have the Colorado Timber. This is a weird one because obviously you get Jay Rubin. That's going to make your team better, right?
Yeah.
You have Ryan Trader and Adam Hissner. So those 3 guys alone is a really good start to any squad. I just don't think they have the depth that a lot of teams are. So if I'm being truly honest with myself,
Those are my question marks as well.
I would go a D, but Jay Rubin is like that change factor.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give them a C minus.
I'm gonna go with a D.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
Again, no slight to anyone. Just looking at it, there's not as much crossing of lines that I see on this compared to other teams.
So Missouri Maze. Again, just looking at their squad, I really I can just kind of picture it and how it's all going to work out. I think they have some names like getting a Dia Lee to represent the squad. I getting an Adrian Brunson late to partner up possibly with Vincent Frisch. Like
Yeah.
it just kind of makes sense, man. Like I think they drafted really smart. I really like their squad. I don't think that they're like they could be the most talented. There are a few question marks, so
Mhm.
I don't think they deserve an A because of the few question marks they have. Man, it's hard because I really like their first
I'm
four
gonna
picks
give
in
them
the
an
draft.
A. Like,
Yeah, every time I try to talk myself out of it. All right, I'm going to give them an A minus. I really like their draft. I thought they drafted really well. I can see kind of why they picked guys.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
just
it
on
just makes
paper, I
sense.
just think their team's gonna be sneaky nasty this year.
All right, so we have the Chicagoland Spinners. Um, yeah, man. So they take Gary Bearpaw at number 2. Again, it's one of those like they have Mark Richards, but like which Mark Richards are we getting?
Yeah.
Are we getting doubles Mark Richards from last year, which was I mean good enough to be tied number 1,
Mhm.
or are we getting singles Mark Richard from last year and it's like can we have the other one back? So it just really depends on that. So because of the a main question mark is over your top dog that should be playing singles and you should walk out feeling confident that he's gonna fucking win every time. I think there has to be some question marks. So for them, like yeah, I'm actually gonna go. Man, it's tough because like again, which Creek Killer are we gonna see?
Yeah, I mean,
I
I'm
think
gonna
there's just
go.
so many question
I'm
marks.
going with
I'm
a
gonna go.
flat C.
Yeah, I'm gonna go C minus.
Yeah. And then next up, we have the not so crusty Colonels now.
A lot of
Again,
questions
a
here.
lot of questions. Went real young right off the rip, but got some nice pieces there. Really smart taking Rosie Streaker to pair with Sam Finley. But overall, this squad, like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to just give them. I'll give them a C plus because if it works out, then they were the smart ones.
That's why I gave him B minus. Like I agree. I'm like right along there.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it though. I
Exactly.
respect people saying, "Hey, we're trying something new, and we're gonna roll with this plan." I respect it, so I'm hoping it works out. So I'm gonna go B minus.
Yeah.
The last team we got the Texas Bully Baggers. Again, I really like their squad. I think they drafted really well. I think that just getting Quinn Reeves and getting a guy like Jeremiah Hector, Deb Odom and Linda Peralta, like they're both very talented female players. You could put them in crew cup. You could have those two throwing tandem.
Well, there's a lot of pride in that team too.
Yes.
Being on a Texas team, so I think that means something to them.
Yeah, and again, like if Caleb Batson of old, like this team is just that much better.
Yeah.
Because then you just throw out Batson and Sims, and they're going to be your singles guys. Let Grindersleeve and Dylan do what they're going to do in doubles. You know what I mean? Like there's some variability, and I like the talent here. I really like how they started with their first 4 picks. It kind of makes sense to me. Yeah, I'm going to go B plus.
Yeah, I'll give them an A minus. I like it because again, those question marks, if they go in the direction where it's toward what they once were, then it can be a really nasty team.
So my biggest thing this week has been, and we started looking at, we were trying to do research on who got drafted where. Like,
Yeah.
what is there any info on trades? Did any one update like Michigan Marauders? And we started scrolling through, and like half of the fucking teams pages, nothing had been updated since 2023, not 2024. I mean, there were a few that like were updated in like May, June of 2024.
Yeah.
Still a long time ago. But most of these guys were like October 2023. Some of them had their original logos on there for profile picture and then one post, and that was it. Like, guys, like if we want this to grow, why should we care if you're not going to care?
Exactly.
And I'm tired. Like, I don't want to hear the argument that like, oh, like, but it's all player run. Well, no shit. It
No
should
shit.
be. Because guess what? Like it or not, the ACL pros today are the pioneers of what the game is going to look like 50 years from now. And sometimes when you're the pioneer, you got to do shit that they're not going to have to do 50 years from now.
Exactly.
Some of that is like running your own team's social media account. How many players are full-time cornhole players? Don't give me fucking shit that you don't have time to do it.
Most of them are the captains.
When I have
of
a
these
full-time
teams.
job, I have 2 kids, I'm married, I do the podcast, and I'm still talking about the shit more so than you are.
Yeah.
Put down the fucking golf clubs for 2 minutes and update the goddamn team page. Like, I'm sorry, like, or hire somebody, something. But if you want this game to go, every offseason, I hear the same thing. I get messages. Hey, can you help me find a sponsor? Like, no one's paying us. Like, I need money to travel. Well, fucking earn it. Do something for it. You throwing a beanbag really well at a board does not mean that you're guaranteed money.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
100%.
If we're being completely honest, there might be maybe a handful of players that I think are worth a couple $1,000s right now.
Yeah.
I truly mean that.
What I always contributed is if they were making that kind of money, Sean, we would be doing this full time,
Dude,
and then we could handle their own pages for them. It baffles me. How hard is it to just log on and make a post? It doesn't even have to be any fancy graphic.
Correct.
Nothing. Just
Yes.
post up the information so
Show-
people can stay on task.
show effort.
Because if we want to see it, other people want to see it. That's what the cornhole community is looking for. They've always been sponges for information. Now we have all the analytics. What's the next thing people can get their hands on? Teams.
Yeah.
That's going to be the next thing that has potential to be a thing to get fans involved in.
I was so excited when I heard about the format change, getting away from 7 games, all doubles, and changing it up. It changed the team strategy 1,000%.
It does, and
I was reinvigorated. I'm
Yeah,
like, fuck it.
I
You know
like
what?
it.
We even had a meeting last week.
Yeah.
We're like, we're gonna do.
Sean, I gotta get a beer.
We
We want
want-
a beer now. Are you fired up?
I'm good. We were talking last week and basically just saying like, hey, we need to make it more of an effort to cover teams this year. All right. And I said all last season, we started off the year. If you listen to our episode right around the same time, we're all in on teams. The same fucking shit happens every year. There's no info on it. You go to the website. You can't get any. You get the team's record that's updated 3 weeks late, and you can't find anything on the matchups. Like what happened? Like who won in singles? Not just the overall.
Yeah. It's so hard to follow.
I can't get information as we're heading into a draft about any of the fucking trades. If we're talking about the draft itself, I thought that they did the best at, like, given the situation that they have, right? It wasn't like the best draft, but I love the content, right?
Yeah.
I love the fact, like the 4 analysts, they did the best they can. Like, again, you watch some of these guys when they have their first interview and they stand there and right away you're like, oh man, like if you ever get an ESPN interview, it's going to be wild.
You did mention that Gary Bearpaw had the best one though.
Dude, yeah.
Man, a few words, but nailed it.
Yeah.
Answered every question.
He did.
Moving on.
So the draft process itself, I thought was okay. It seems sloppy. And listen, if we're being completely honest,
was it?
if we're being completely honest,
What was sloppy, Sean?
dude, like you can't have Stacey Moore up there. Like I'm just sorry. Like you got to look more professional than that. You have to.
I mean, you can have Stacey Moore up there. He just can't be drinking.
And this is where it gets hard, right? Because like I want the game to still be fun. Like I want, but at the same time, if we want to be taken seriously, if we want to get off ESPN the Ocho, and you want to be like this legit league where we're trying to bring in real sponsors, that's just a really bad look to have the commissioner like just having a good old
just
time.
like, how am I supposed to take teams serious when clearly they're not?
Yeah,
like that's just one of those like.
It just seems like very like kind of ragtag, like just thrown together like an afterthought. Like, oh hey, yeah, oh shit, we're doing this draft. Like I would love to see a graphic on the screen of like the draft picks as they've gone down.
Yeah.
Something every once in a while, bring up like a who's left kind of list of like your Anthony's like best available players.
Exactly.
Like
Just
it
have
can't be
something
that
pop
difficult
up.
to do some work ahead of time to put this together and make it a real thing. Now I understand that there's also an open, but my thing is if you're not going to go and do something right, why fucking do it at all? Don't half-ass it.
Yeah. You could just as easily just do this behind closed doors.
Because
and then
I am
just
one
throw
shitty,
out
I'm
the
one
teams.
shitty season away of like no updates, all this stuff. I'm out. Like I'm not fucking doing teams anymore.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. So
Yeah,
this
be
is
like,
my
what?
cry to everyone else. Like I understand that it's more effort on your part. I get it. But there are people out there that care about this and they would like to support these and help cover it for fucking free and give you guys promotion. But we can't get any info.
Yeah. It makes life difficult. And we don't have the kind of time to find it. So we're just asking.
Whether it's ACL posting more stuff on their website and being more transparent about that, whether it's updating teams lists on Facebook and just letting us know how each match
Yeah,
went.
I mean, you can't have one person dedicated on your social media team to just teams this year. Just one. Be like, hey, your job this year is to make
And
teams
again,
pop.
Dane said it perfectly. It doesn't need to be something grand.
No.
It doesn't need to be fun. Just something. Just show some sort of effort that you're keeping the page updated and it looks professional. If I'm somebody and I'm like, oh, hey, do you want to buy in on the league? Right? We had that question, like, how much money would you spend?
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the team social media page like, well, are they still around?
No.
Oh, you want to buy California? They won the World Championship last year. Oh, really? They haven't had a post since 2023.
They have
They were world
700
champions?
followers. Like,
You know what I mean? Like,
just-
it's just, I just feel like the effort should be there. And if we want the game to grow, if you want bigger payouts, you want to attract, you know what I mean, like bigger sponsors, which is going to bring in the prize pool. It starts at the grassroots. You just being good at throwing a bag does not help the game grow at all. It
Yeah.
just doesn't. Nobody gives a fucking shit. Nobody cares. I hate to burst your bubble. You're not that cool if you throw a cornhole bag that well.
and teams should still be the future, in my opinion.
I think it's going to be.
It makes it just set up, especially now that it's state based and stuff like that. It just sets it up to be like
Now that they changed the format and
Yeah.
singles matters again, and you're going to bring the energy of Crew Cup, like it has all the makings to be really fun to watch. I'm just begging, just please be more transparent with the info, so we
Exactly.
can follow it along. And this is a cry from fans all across the country that we get messages all the time being like, "Hey, did you find this stuff? It's really frustrating. I want to follow, but it's so difficult to follow along."
it's too difficult.
Hear us now.
hard.
We are telling you, we want to try to follow this, but it's been impossible up to this point. So make the changes that you need.
Just make it easy,
Make it easy.
because it is easy.
Yes. Okay.
And then that being said, next year, I feel like we should just tell them we'll handle doing like live tweets or something
For sure.
for 'em. We have to.
All right. So we want to do listener questions first.
Oh yeah, it was up to 60 when
Yeah.
I just checked. 60, Sean. When we get guests, I mean, why do we even do guests? People just want to hear from us.
That's not true. Sorry. Dane's internet's just trying to load here.
And Devin Harbaugh said, if you need a guest, pick me. You just
I
wanna
know.
hit him up real quick.
Just call him. Hey.
Hey,
Okay. So, all right. So Nate Boyer, the good and bads of the team's draft. A lot to talk about. So we kind of just touched on all that stuff. Lucas Meyer, best type of chili: Skyline, chili with beans, or chili without beans.
Oof.
I don't know if this is a popular opinion. I honestly don't know. I grew up loving my mom's chili, and it was always chilies with bean. So
Yeah.
I'm going with bean.
with Bean. I mean,
I've
she
had
does-
Skyline's good. It's fine on
but
spaghetti
she
and
kind
stuff.
of
It's fine.
makes this Skyline flavored chili
But with beans in it.
with beans in it. Yeah.
So, but whatever. Yeah. So, but it has beans in it. So
Yeah, I just feel like Skyline's this very specific
I feel like
style.
Skyline's like chunkier, right? Like it's
Well, it's meatier, but it's also got like a sweeter taste to it.
Okay.
It's not like smoky and heat.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind it. I don't mind a sweet chili, but I much prefer like a one with a little bit more heat to it, but gotta have beans. The reason I'm eating chili is to clean myself out. All right, let's not
fair enough.
beans help that process. Let's just
Okay.
hasten it.
So is it Texas that does no beans? Is that like the?
I mean, I think
chili?
true chili has no beans in it. I
Is
think
that
it really
that's what I'm saying?
does.
Is that like? Because I know it's regional.
Yeah.
Is that the Texas way?
I think that's the
so
Texas
I didn't mean to
way, yeah.
insult any of our
Again,
people
like,
down there, but
If we just call it chili, whatever you want to call it, bean soup with beef. I don't know.
first of all,
Like,
if
just-
you gave me chili with no beans, I'm not going to say like, oh no.
yeah,
Like,
oh,
you know what I mean?
gross. Where's
Yeah,
the beans? I don't give a shit. Give me a hot dog. I'll throw it in there.
Cornhole cobbler, shout out.
Yes.
So Harbaugh wins the $15,000 Paradise Grill, and then he goes on to win Open number 1. Is this the year we've been waiting for from him?
We've seen this before though from him.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so.
Didn't he win Spencer's last year and some
Yeah.
other stuff? And
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, again, I'm a Devin Harbaugh fan. I want to see it win. It's at that point now. Like, I just want to see it first. That's all.
I think it's just a testament to the field in general.
All right. So Reggie Reich wants to know hybrids or driving irons. What do you call it?
Oh, I call them hybrids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm.
That's just the time that
I
grew up
cannot.
with.
So I'm so frustrated with. So I have one hybrid in my bag. It's 4,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm so pissed that I didn't just pay the little bit extra and get a 4 iron.
Yeah.
Because like I do not hit that thing consistently enough. If I hit it well, it's fine. I just don't know where the fuck it's gonna go. Sometimes I pull it, sometimes I push it. Rarely do I hit that thing
Yeah.
well. Like I'm better off just hitting driver off the deck like 3/4 than I am hitting. I don't know what it is. It's a mental block, but it's bad. It's
And
real
again,
bad.
just come to the dark side, man. Just accept the ease of a hybrid, right? You don't have to overswing it. Let the club do
So Rich Norman posts a very good one. I'm interested to hear your answer.
I just saw this one too.
Is Reese's a candy bar?
First off, it's Reese's.
Reese's.
Okay. And secondly, it's in the candy bar genre, much
Okay.
like a hot dog is a sandwich, but it's not technically a candy bar.
Yes, I would
But
agree.
it's in the family
It's a candy.
of candy that you find right alongside. Yes.
You're not gonna find Reese cups with like gummy bears and stuff. You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
like-
Like you're gonna find it with like Milky Way and
Exactly.
you know
It's
what I mean? Like
gonna
all
be right
those. Yeah.
alongside. So to me, I would consider it, yes, a candy bar.
You do
Even though-
consider a candy bar
again, because it's that higher level. It's where it's at in the chain.
No,
so,
so
like
I-
at some point it does cross across candy bar.
If I said, "Hey, I'm gonna grab you a candy bar," and I handed you a
Reese's,
peanut butter cup, and
and
you're
I'd
gonna
be like, sweet.
yeah, but you're not gonna be like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting this." Like I'm saying, no, it's not. I think it's its own separate thing. I think it's just a peanut butter cup.
You
It's
just call
delicious.
it. You just call it Reese's cup. Like that's it.
It's a peanut butter cup.
Just like you say, a hot dog isn't a sandwich.
No,
Even
if
though
you're
it's
talking
in the same
about like
echelon,
if you're
Sean,
talking
we're
about like a
talking the same
fast
thing
break,
right here.
that's a candy bar. It's a little, it's a fucking bar that has but if we're talking about like the peanut butter cups, no, I don't consider that a candy bar.
Yeah, I mean, like when we're going,
I get it, man.
down
Like
the tier,
you're,
Sean. There's the candy bar.
Yeah, you're
is like
wrong
just
again.
another spot, but like the candy bar section.
people, please chime
It's
in the
in there.
comments. All right?
right?
If you're watching on YouTube, Patreon, whatever you're doing, just
Those
please
that
chime
have a
in.
higher level of thinking understand
Message
this,
us on
this tier
Facebook.
that I'm talking about. So yes, hot dog is a sandwich. Reese's cup is technically in that candy bar.
See, that's
family.
what you always throw like technically. It's like no, it's not technically. It's not
Sean,
a candy
that's just
bar.
how it's how the world works. Okay.
Thanks, Rich. Rich Norman wants to know, why do predictions repeatedly not include Alan Rawls and Chris Kingsbury? I would like to say in my top 10 rank they were there, first of all. But yeah, I mean, they're just that forgotten team. They're Team Vanilla.
Mhm.
But like we've said before, sometimes Vanilla just fucking smacks.
Yeah.
And
does-
that's exactly what you
slap
want.
right.
And it was slapping this last weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. Tim Fulcor wants to know, he's curious if you've heard from directors whether early ACL regional participation is up, down, even. I think it's too early. Like the season just started.
Yeah, we haven't even had our first.
Yeah,
regional
next week
yet,
I'll
so-
give you. We can come back next week or 2 weeks from now and kind of let you know what the numbers were.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see too.
Mhm.
How many foot files were called over the weekend? I heard one, I think. And there's no warnings, right? It's just immediate,
It's
like
immediate. Yeah.
correct.
They throw their little flag out, blow their whistle.
Another shout out to Angel Rodriguez. Take a poll on the CEO not being allowed to be present at next year's draft, or will you start to the yearly booing like Roger Goodell gets?
I think Stacy would love that. Actually, it would actually be really funny.
Let's see. Doug Combs said you should have that Canadian guy on. I think Brandon Brown was busy. Early Stevie Award predictions. We're gonna save that for a whole nother conversation before the first signature event. We'll definitely get into that. Chris Kingsbury has perhaps the question of all questions, and I'm very interested to hear your answer. Dane, Superbad or Step Brothers? This is tough because we love,
God,
and we've
damn.
used several of those quotes on the show.
I know it is tough, man.
6 to Midnight still might be one of my favorite lines in the movie.
I got a boner.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally. I can play it right here.
My eyes
Where are you?
are crying.
Where is? Oh, here it is.
I got a boner.
Too good.
Wow, wow.
So,
Oh man, it's just like two completely different times in my life, even though they weren't that far apart.
Yeah.
And
all right. You have the two movies right here. You got to pick one to watch. Which one are you picking?
I think I'm going super bad.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I am.
I'm going to go Step Brothers just because it's like, it's up there with one of my favorites of all time. But Superbad is definitely top 10 comedies for me.
Superbad's that one movie that every time I watch it, like there's parts that I just for some reason never remember.
Yeah,
and it
I get
gets
that.
me every time.
Yeah.
Like when they're laying in their like
Oh,
little sleeping bags, like boop, boop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like every time it
Oh,
gets
yeah.
me, and it's just
Don't get me wrong. It's a phenomenal movie, but
But-
Superbad is just like how many times I quote that movie on a daily basis.
yeah.
It's bad for Step Brothers. Like
I mean,
it really is.
And Step Brothers is just iconic too. It's
Yeah.
just
That came out like when I was in college. Like just
you know what I feel like it is. I feel like Step Brothers is just always on. So
I
I,
get that
would
you're a little
choose
burned
to
out. I get that.
choose to take Superbad. just 'cause
Superbad
it's
used to
not
be on all the time.
It did, but
but it sucks on TV. Like you can't watch
it does.
that.
Yeah, it's gotta get a glimpse of these warlocks. Let's make a move.
Hell yeah. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's see.
Hey, you don't say that.
Okay, I like this one. Corey Fredrickson wants to know fuck, marry, kill, tacos, hot dogs, pizza.
No, well, I'm gonna kill a hot dog. I'm gonna. I'll fuck a taco and marry the pizza.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going marrying pizza. It's just a safe route. You know
Exactly
what I mean? Like,
right. So you've never again a shitty pizza is still pizza.
I feel like it would be off-brand for me to kill a hot dog. So I'm gonna fuck a hot dog. What can I say?
I know
gotta
you would.
clip that.
Is it called docking at that point?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like tacos it's tempting because like the versatility is there, but like I mean, I guess a good summertime barbecue, like that first beer and you're on the grill, good little wiener in your mouth.
I mean,
like,
I just figure
nothing better.
like taco seems a little more like sexy, to fuck around with.
All right, so Jocelyn wants to know: did BG buy all cornhole or all cornhole bought BG? I don't know officially. All right, the rumor on the street is that BG bought a significant portion, whether it was all of it or a significant portion of all cornhole. They're never going to come out and say 100% certainty this is what happened, but all the stars kind of aligning to that point, right?
Yeah, I mean, you see Anthony Kissel sitting in the all cornhole tent every time. I got something going on.
How about worthless rounders in every event that everyone was mad about? Yeah, so apparently like they're doing like these rounders that don't do anything for seeding. It's really just, hey, like you're paying money to come to an event. We want to give you at least a minimum amount of games, so you're going to play these rounders games. And they didn't do. So some people were like, fucking sweet, went 4-0 in rounders, and they're like, hey, guess what? You're
Didn't
still
matter.
a 64th seed. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, so Ryan Burris said, I hope you heard about the draft and what went down at the coasters table. So we're starting to get into some of the drama. So buckle up, folks.
Drama.
So apparently, we know at the draft that the Carolina Coasters traded to Michigan, Chad Hunt and Tommy, right? Along with Frank Modlin. Apparently, Tommy was not pleased. And apparently, like, he ripped off his jersey and stormed away. And he came back later, little buzzed, we'll say it, and started motherfucking Jamie Graham to the point where he ended up getting like kicked out of the event. Not a great look, but like it shows that like you care a little bit.
Hey, the man liked that team.
Yeah.
And you crapped on his heart.
Listen, if I'm Tommy, I'm just using
Guess
this
what?
to be like,
Coming
guess
back
what,
with a
Michigan? Oh yeah,
vengeance, yeah.
Michigan, we're gonna dominate. If next time when we play Carolina, I want to play Jamie in singles. So that was the word on the street from there. Freddie Howard wants to know who will this year's 27 feet cornhole sponsored players be?
It's called Team Big Asp.
James Emery, after winning a set of boards as one of these new prizes valued at $500, is it even worth it to win again? Just to get another set of boards that nobody is paying $500 for. Cash makes more sense to me. I don't care what the payout is. I'll take whatever it is, whatever it breaks down to. The idea of a T-shirt and a love letter from a pro doesn't interest me personally. So, listen, I get that. If you're worried about winning like multiple events, you know what I mean? Like, hats off to you. Like, that wouldn't even cross my fucking mind that I was going to win 2 of these things. Like, how often does that happen at open events where the same people are winning like the lower divisions?
It doesn't. Like,
right?
Hardly ever.
But I see your question. Like, I get what you're saying 100%. Is it might be valued at 500, but
How about
like,
you,
you're not
how about
gonna
you win the second set of boards first?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so I get it. Like, it goes down to, again, if you make tier 3, like, it doesn't make sense for you to win money. Like, why are we paying out even if it breaks down, why are you expecting to get money for taking first place, but it's really like 64th place?
If you're in tier 3, or tier 2, you're there for fun. Like, yeah, maybe you'll have a day and like win it. Sweet. But at the end of the day, you're not there expecting to win if you're down in tier 2.
Yeah, it's true. All right, so let's do. I think it's time now.
It's a drama readings time.
Dramatic reading time.
In a world where beanbags have brought men to their knees, social media serves as sanctuary for keyboard warriors. Time for the dramatic readings.
just to give a little background on some of the drama this weekend.
Mm.
This is Rich Chamness, dated September 28th. Just missing those gold stars on those hashtag Temu BG bags. Hashtag go BG or get the fuck out. They not like us. Crying, laughing emoji. And then there's a nice little picture of the t-shirt that they had made with the Viking skull from like their original like launch, really like one of those. Like it's
Yeah.
been a common BG theme there. And then it says they not like us on the other side of it. All right. So this is where all this stuff happens. So I get a message from an unnamed source this weekend saying, like, are you aware of like the little beef, like little spat between BG and Brotherhood? I'm like, say more. Like, what's going on? So I get filled in, and I verified from a bunch of different sources that there was in fact something going on. So it goes all the way back to this post that I just read from Rich, and the simple hashtag TemuBG. Now, again, like, who are you alluding to right there? So apparently, with the other one, just missing those gold stars. If you read between the lines, he's basically calling out Brotherhood Cornhole there, because Brotherhood Cornhole, they have a giant B as their logo on their bags, and they have 3 stars along the left-hand side of that B. BG has also been known for having a star in between the B and the G, right? It's kind of like been their new logo since Rich kind of took over, right? Brotherhood is a very young, upcoming group that I know that there were several. I know several Brotherhood throwers this year were throwing BG last year. So I think that there's some feelings mixed in there. And then apparently Rich did not like the pro design bags from Brotherhood. He thought that it was basically like kind of copying a little bit of the design off of the BG team bags with the name, like the pro name written on the logo, something along those lines, right?
Okay.
So he had these shirts made, and at the open was basically giving them out. And then he took a team picture in front of like the BG and the Brotherhood tent. Kind of right there. So that was it. So, and then
little subtle jabs.
But Brotherhood they knew what the shirts meant.
Yeah.
They saw the post, the not Temu. So I'm excited. I love like petty drama bullshit like this. Like it makes it so much fun
with it.
So listen, it's not harming anybody.
No.
You're allowed to have a little rivalry. Listen, I am all for it. I am like, let's turn the pettiness level fucking up a few notches, please.
Hell yeah.
Like,
let's get some bad blood. I want some rivalries forming
within the professional realm. I hope that we see some sort of response out of Brotherhood.
Yes.
Like just have some fun with it. Like I think it would be very funny.
What would be a retort that would be up to snuff in your opinion?
You got to make a shirt with a hashtag or something. You got to come up with something clever.
I feel like you do a play on like they not like us. Like I feel like you play on that.
Well, I also find it kind of ironic where they're saying they not like us, and then Rich gives like this explanation on the reel that I made, which was fucking
How about
perfect.
this? You put one up and says like they, and then like a little star, are not like us, like just correct the grammar on it. I think that would be subtly funny.
It would be kind of funny. Rich went on there explaining, basically saying like this is not true. He's like, and then basically used it as a sales pitch for like announcing like their next bag series name, which is called Kingslayer.
Yeah.
If you're really gonna say like they not like us, like isn't Kingslayer, like that name's already been out there for a while.
So it has. We've
like Tanner
literally
Halper,
had.
we sponsored the fucking
weren't there
league last
ACL
year
bags made
by
by
Kingslayer.
Kingslayer Cornhole.
Yes. It's I don't know. I mean, I guess there's only so many names out there. I'm not getting that hung up on it. But like, what are the materials you're using? Like, or like, what's the design going to be like?
Just be more original. Come on now.
I'm all for the pettiness. I loved it. I think that it's listen, as long as it doesn't get like unprofessional, like this is the kind of stuff that makes it fun behind the scenes.
Hell yeah.
Like we want a little build up. We want a little tension behind there. It's good stuff.
Hell yeah.
All right, cue that rap horn, man.
Is it time?
It
You didn't
is.
have another dramatic reading?
Just wake you up if you're still here.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
just wanted to.
Reach us at Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube at Big Ass Pornhole.
And the last one that's left of that long list, Facebook at Big Ass Cornhole Podcast. Thanks again to our sponsor, Dragon Bags. If you're looking to up your game, head over to dragonbags.com and drop code BIGASS12 to save yourself 12%.
If you are looking to support the show in any way, if you go to patreon.com/bigasscornhole for the price of a beer a month, you can get bonus content like watching the video version of the podcast. If you're sick of just listening to it and you're like, God damn, these guys sound so good looking, you can find the video version over on Patreon. We also post all the video interviews as well with our guests.
And we look pretty good from the waist up.
Yeah.
You know?
Listen, crispy. We definitely figured out. So we had a few messages about like, why are the videos so grainy? We upgraded some equipment
Believe me,
here.
yeah.
We got a nice camera now. We're full like live stream. Like we're good.
We're figuring it out as we go. The
But
files are much bigger. So that was our
we
issue.
figured it out. Yes. So now that we're good, we're not going to worry about compressed files anymore. So now we're good. It's been crisp, like very, very clear on
Yeah, and
YouTube.
guess
So I hope you
what?
guys are enjoying that.
He saw that.
He did.
Yep. And if you're not watching this on Patreon, you didn't know what
Yeah,
I
we need
pointed
some
at.
fun stuff. Like if you're like part of a cornhole club and you have like little banners or like a t-shirt or something, we need some, like I want to start hanging up stuff.
Yeah, just
now
subtly.
that it's clear enough that you can actually see it, I want to start throwing up some funny stuff back there.
Like, I mean, nobody ever has once mentioned, and it bothers the hell out of me.
The cornhole calendar.
No. This right there.
Oh, the sodium. Yeah.
Podium potion.
Podium potion.
Never once mentioned. And that I used to have that up when we were sponsored by You Shan't Be Named. It was always sitting there.
Sauce of the toss.
Yes.
Yes, something like that. But yeah, go to patreon.com. We got bonus content up there. We post questions, interact a lot with fans. We do bag giveaways periodically. Working on getting the stickers out. And I upgraded stickers too.
Ooh, was it?
Big boy stickers.
Ooh, big sticks.
Yeah, so
nice.
I keep forgetting to bring them over, but
Yeah, because I
anyways.
need to put one on this guy.
But greatly appreciate your guys' support. We were not able to keep doing this without you guys. Thank you for all the kind words. Like for whatever reason, like last 2 weeks, a lot of people, I don't know if I sounded down or something, but people just picking up, like hearing stuff like that, getting feedback, like reading Apple podcast reviews. Like if you're listening to this on Apple and you want to drop us 5 stars and leave a review, I'd greatly appreciate it. Maybe even get a sticker sent your way or something. I'm just saying. But
A big ass sticker.
it means a lot. Going into year 6 of this?
God.
So going into year
We're
6
so
of this,
old.
I mean, like just knowing that people still enjoy the content stuff means a lot. So if you want bonus content, go to patreon.com/bigasspornhole. If not, we're still going to have the podcast out weekly for free every week.
Hell yeah. That's
Hell
what we
yeah.
do.
So next week, we're going to be joined by ACL rookie Matt Wilson. I'm excited to
Nice.
have him on. The janitor is his nickname.
Clean it up.
Yeah, so we're going to have him on. We'll be talking about whatever pops up the rest of the week.
Hell yeah. I
Hell
love
yeah.
it.
All right,
More
folks.
drama.
Hope you guys enjoyed this week. And as always, we hope you throw it straight. And it's nothing but 4 baggers from here on out.
Cornhole it.
Later.